Okay. What's goody gang? What's happening with it, man? It's Low Soda Big. Oh no, you know. Like, subscribe, all that. You know what I'm saying? Leave your comments. Get in the live chat. Did he do it, gang? More on the Diddy man. You heard me? Diddy man. Can he do it? Yeah, he can. He like the gingerbread man. But let's start this shit out, man. This is how I'm kicking my shit out this morning, gang. You know what I'm saying? Grab your cup of coffee, your weed, your all that shit. Sit down, have a seat, laugh, man. That nigga I told Cassie to do, man. I need to go out here and take a picture holding these balloons, nigga. Made my God, that shit was probably for real. That nigga Diddy weird. That nigga want motherfucking Cambodian breast milk, right? I did. Shit he kept. That was Cassie's favorite line. The bad news is, Cassie, you ain't gonna get them goddamn other 8 albums. I'm shutting down the studio. Happy to that nigga, man, flying with a Bentley, man. That nigga disappeared. Is he gonna testify, guys? But alright, man. This the start of the show, man. We gotta put some light into this shit. But this how I start that shit out, man. This shit be damaging, bro. You be reading so much beating and raping and all that, bro. God damn, we gotta get to the bright side of that shit sometime. You know what I'm saying? I start this shit out, man. Damn, what happened? I don't want part 3. I want part 2. Gotta get it to the Diddy parts, man. There you go.
He like men too. Now I'm thinking about all the shit that Jada been through. That's why she don't give a fuck how Will Smith be feeling. The nigga Keefy D got locked up for Tupac killing. 20-some years later, they finally saw the shooting. Keefy D out here saying Puff paid him to do it. I know the nigga Puff like, why the fuck he saying that? Carissa won the BET award, we all know you paid for that. I mean, he is fucking her, so fuck it, is he wrong? She a freak, she got him open, that bitch like getting peed on.
You got to.
It say take a shot if you like golden showers. I do.
She a real asshole. We all knew she was nasty. I wonder how she feel now knowing what Puff did to Cassie. He raped her, beat her up, made her fuck male prostitute. She sued you for 30 mil. Wonder how much she got from you. You settled in 24 hours. You gave for that bread. Young Jock said you the reason she had to save her head. Cassie really had Diddy out here bugging. He blew up Kid Cudi car when he found out they was fucking.
I thought we were fucking friends. You get the fuck out of here.
He was controlling her, he had her on some scared shit, paying other niggas to fuck her while he watched on some weird shit. I'm like, did he do it? Did he drug her? Did he rape her? If you ain't do this shit, Diddy, why did you pay her? I'm like, did he do it? Did he drug her? Did he rape her? If you ain't do this shit, Diddy, why did you pay her? I'm like, did he do it? Did he drug her? Did he rape her? If you ain't do this shit, Diddy, why did you? You was an icon, nigga, you ruined it. Diddy documentary coming out, 50 Cent shooting it.
You ready? Okay, check this out.
I think it's called Diddy Not or Diddy Do This Shit. Now his son throwing up gang signs doing stupid shit. Mr. Take that was taking vagina. You even gang raped a 17-year-old minor. Everybody snitching on you, this shit ain't going well. You even try to get the acting nigga up in your hotel. 3 in the morning, Diddy, what the fuck was you trying to do? You was by yourself, you wanted him to come catch a vibe with you. You're looking like R. Kelly can't even lie to you, nigga. 18 brands decided to cut ties with you. You had to leave a vote cause your image is tarnished. And that R&B album that you put out was garbage. Even you and Aaron Hall got hit with a case together. In that interview he did with Vlad, making shit look no better.
Everybody know me.
Yeah.
So everybody know if I say it, I'm gonna fuck it to death.
Now Diddy got a case with this nigga. Listen to this nigga, bro, on the interview.
Like the fucking public, you feel me?
Yeah.
So niggas can't say nothing about it. Them square ass niggas, them precious cake little dick niggas.
Yeah.
I like for them niggas to see how I fuck. Like if you speak to Jodeci or Puffy or any of them niggas, they been at my house. They all see me fuck. They all know I'm a big nigga.
You been real quiet, Puff, why you ain't say shit? Even TD Jakes was up in your parties doing gay shit. Ever since Cassie made those allegations, everybody been getting hit with sexual assault cases. Denzel voice cases on all of you motherfuckers. Off Pierre, Jamie Foxx, yeah, all of you motherfuckers. Even Cuba Gooding Jr. had some new cases brought up. Even the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, got caught up. That's good for him. I ain't never like that motherfucker. This the second investigation that they got him under. And I heard that nigga married. I know his wife mad. The feds took his cell phones and all his iPads. Diddy making shit hide. Everybody going down. Since Cassie got paid, everybody wants some money now. You know, did he do it? Did he drug her? Did he rape her? If you ain't do this shit, Diddy, why did you pay her? Y'all know I had to do this shit. Y'all won't let me retire. I'm part of the holidays now, just like Mariah. I disrespect niggas respectfully. These niggas ain't gon' do shit. Ain't nobody checking me. Y'all heard what happened. Y'all know what happened, but y'all don't care. Y'all still want me to talk about this shit every year. Crazy, crazy, sick, crazy. Crazy, crazy, sick, crazy.
Diddy's in trouble. This nigga Diddy did it. He did it. Diddy do it. Yeah, he did it. Diddy did it. Diddy did it. Nigga did it. Take that. Bad boy for life. Take that. That nigga on his way to jail on Suge Knight, they're waiting on him. You get tired of your silly dance.
Yeah, Suge Knight waiting on him. He tried to ride on Suge, man. But y'all, welcome to the show, man. It's the Diddy Files. Diddy do it. Diddy not. Diddy do that shit. What up, man? What's happening, man? Today, the star witness is goddamn Kid Cudi, man. Did he blow up Kid Cudi car? That's the main. I want to see Cudi get on the stand and say that shit. Like, did this nigga blow up Cudi car, fam? Is that nigga on some movie shit? They just did some shit like that in Mobland. Like, is this nigga Diddy was really on some gay mafia mob boss nigga type guy. Like, it was, bro, did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? I don't know. We finna get into this shit, dog. We got testimonies today. We gonna catch up. I'm gonna go ahead to Fox, you know what I'm saying? While I smoke, get my shit right, you know what I'm saying? Bow. We finna go on here and let these niggas talk. They gonna catch us up, gang. Then I'm gonna go read the transcripts from court. Like every day, this goddamn trial, it just hit you over the head with something else, man. Mo, we finna catch up. We finna add a nigga form assistance. Women, men, goddamn, what? Yo, my boy Cudi coming in there, motherfucker, today. We finna see this car really blow up, guy. Like, I'm pressed about that shit. I wants to know. I got to know. Did that nigga blow up? Did he really put some C4 in that bitch? Dynamite? What's really the motion here? And they ain't doing shit but just looking at the courtroom over there. There we go. Nigga, what's the motion, nigga? What? Who did that? Oh. Did he do it? Who he paid to do it? Did he get like some ex-army niggas? Like ex-marine motherfuckers? Man, they go, come on, man, catch us up, gang. We gotta go over yesterday.
The defense wants to go with.
Yes, so this is a big deal. And to Jen's point, if I'm the judge, I don't allow it at all. Now, it's a game changer. Why? Because I think inquiring minds want to know, right, what was the coercion? If this is about sex trafficking and not a freaky relationship, it's about the fact that I coerced you to do this.
But
not
you
of
can
your
talk
free
about
will.
coercion.
Yes, I get it. But inferences are drawn. If you're controlling everything, if you're behaving as a victim in this way, if you feel in love with someone and you have this mold of a person, right, who, if you're a victim of this violence, you tend to act this way, what is the inference that's going to be made, right? A duck by any name is a duck. And so the reality is what does the defense have to rely on? The defense has to rely on the fact that you did not interview this specific witness. Not every witness is the same. We don't live in a cookie cutter society. You never met, right, a defendant who you testified for. You're always testifying for the victims. You're a hired gun in this particular situation. You've met with the prosecutors multiple times, and you've coordinated your testimony such that those dots can be connected. That's the defense argument. But the fact that she testified, very powerful for the prosecution. And if the jury draws those inferences of coercion, there is problems in Diddy land.
The prosecution and the defense, they sparred over the testimony.
It's problems, man. It's coercion when you say, if you don't give me $20,000, I'm gonna put out these freak outs. It's coercion when you say, bitch, if you don't get your ass back in this goddamn room, anime, and fuck these 3 prostitutes, I'm gonna show this shit to your goddamn mama, and it's going on the internet. That's goddamn correct. You know what I'm saying? That's
Torres said
motherfucking
that she
reason.
lived in. The prosecution called psychologist Don Hughes to explain why Cassie may have stayed in an abusive relationship with Diddy for years. The judge had already ruled that she could not talk about coercive control, but she could discuss more broadly why victims may choose to stay in violent relationships or feel like they could not leave them. Hughes testified, quote, when you're getting unpredictable abuse and unpredictable love, that creates this intermittent cycle.
Yeah.
It's like a slot machine.
Yeah.
She went on to say, you keep going back because you want that good feeling. They want that good partner that they got, fell in love with, and that becomes an immense trauma bond. Now, the defense repeatedly pointed out how Hughes had not reviewed any evidence in this case. More on that in a moment. But on redirect, the prosecutor finished with what you might call a kind of a legal mic drop. She asked Hughes if she'd been retained broadly by defense attorneys. She said, yes, of course. The prosecutor then asked, in fact, have you previously been retained by any of the defendant's attorneys here in this case? She responded, yes, I have. Now, she wasn't saying that it was actually this matter with Sean Diddy Combs, but the defense attorney she's talking about was Brian Steele. And his legal team later said that Steele, in a different case, chose not to use Hughes as a witness in that case that he was on at the time. And the
Hey, this the only chance Diddy got though. Brian Steele is a bad boy, man. That boy like the El Chapo of lawyers, fam. Like that nigga like the Pablo Escobar of lawyers, fam, and Medellin, gang. You heard me? Like he probably can get your ass off or get that shit knocked down where you don't go to prison forever. You know what I'm saying?
client that he was dealing with
Did he do it? We don't know, but he can do it, man. Is he gonna do it this time? I don't know. This a hard ass case, guy. You got a leader of a sex cartel. This shit different from Young Thug. You know, this shit different from Lil Durk. Shit, this is man. I don't even think none of them niggas. Them niggas probably wouldn't even had the money to do all this shit Diddy was doing. He had the, I don't know, Bad Boy was getting it in, but he was on the billionaire list, though. He got that bread. That boy had a whole sex cartel, nigga. What R. Kelly have? That shit, he killing R. Kelly, nigga. R. Kelly had the little version. Like, if it's a guy selling drugs in your neighborhood, see that guy you can still see selling the drugs on the corner? That was R. Kelly. Diddy was the motherfucker you don't need. He the nigga they getting it from. You don't never see this nigga. He like ghost. Like you just hear this nigga name. Nobody really know that nigga face. Diddy like that, gang. That nigga was a super sex orgy cartel gay head honcho mafia boss, nigga.
a victim of domestic violence herself.
This that I think It's an interview where Fat Joe said the gay mafia run hip hop, nigga. That was Diddy, nigga.
Now, that testimony will be a lot for the jury to unpack and try to pull apart. So will all the evidence taken from Diddy's mansion in Miami Beach just last year. Police seized parts of AR-15s. Some had their serial numbers scratched off. They found a loaded handgun.
Illegal.
There were high heels, a lot of them.
Why
Also
is there
bottles
evidence?
and bottles of Astroglide and baby oil and lubricant. And police discovered an assortment of drugs, including ketamine and cocaine and MDMA. The special agent in charge of that raid testified about all of it, including 6 people on the property who were briefly put in handcuffs. Now, the last witness of the day was Diddy's former executive assistant, George Kaplan. Now, he tried to plead the Fifth to protect against self-incrimination, but the judge, by granting him immunity, paved the way for him to actually go on the stand. And once he got on the stand, he testified about getting his boss drugs at times. He testified about setting up and cleaning up Diddy's hotel rooms. He stocked them with clothing and candles and liquor. And
oh my God. Cleaning up Diddy hotel room. After Cassie done been pissed on, niggas done ejaculated on her, he done had it rubbed on him, it's Astroglide and baby oil all over this mother. You might walk in that motherfucking fire bush. You'll walk up in there like you slipped on the banana peel in the cartoon, nigga walking the Diddy motherfucking road. Hold on, guys. You telling me he had to clean this up? I'll be fucking, ooh. I really, fuck that, man. I had to be a millionaire, bro. You had to pay me some money for that. I ain't finna come in here and clean up all this ass juice and semen and all that gang for no damn pennies on the dollar, fam.
And baby oil. He bought some of these room supplies, he says, with his corporate credit card. And cleaned up the rooms after Diddy left before the maid service came in. Now, why do that? Why do it before the maid service comes in? Well, because Kaplan put it this way. Protecting him and protecting his public image was very important, and that was something I was very keen on doing. Now, Cassie testified that Kaplan quit after seeing Diddy abuse her. Now, we haven't heard that from him yet, but he is back on the stand in the morning. And you know who else prosecutors plan to call? Rapper Kid Cudi. Recall that Cassie testified that she was once in a relationship with him, and that sent Diddy spiraling into a jealous rage.
Blew up this
Back with us tonight, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who witnessed all the testimony in court with me today, been following along so closely. So talk to me about this forensic and clinical psychologist. I mean, it was very pivotal for her to come in and try to explain this looming question of why might someone stay, because Cassie's credibility might be questioned for those who don't understand why.
This was a pivotal witness for the prosecution because these sex crimes, they can be very confusing for a jury. There's a lot of gray area. This is not black and white. So she came on to testify to some of the behaviors that are common among all trauma victims, whether that is a victim of domestic violence, of sexual abuse, even of something totally unrelated to this. And that was key for the prosecution because she said, I am not related to this trial. I have not met with anyone. I have not met with the defendant, Sean Combs. I have not met with any of the government's witnesses, such as Cassie. So she came into this, what she said, as a blind witness, but she did corroborate what Cassie and some other witnesses.
So this the shit that happened yesterday. Yesterday, you know, the nigga Kaplan had started testifying. I'll be tired of reading, man. It's a lot of
have said. For instance, there was one part that really stuck out to me, Laura, when I was sitting there in the courthouse. She said that, quote, it may be curling up in a ball on the floor. That was something that she explained for a common behavior that could be seen by a victim of domestic violence. Basically saying they may curl up on a ball on the floor so that they basically stop the violence that is happening to them. Now, why this stood out to me is because I remembered that this was very similar to what Cassie testified to what we saw in the video that our team at CNN broke that hotel surveillance video when she curled up in the fetal position. And we went back to some other testimony. Dawn Richard, or Richard rather, you remember her. She said about Cassie, quote, she went into the fetal position. The security guard, Israel Flores from the hotel, said Cassie was bundled up in the corner. And Carrie Morgan, who was Cassie's best friend and testified to corroborate her account, she said, quote, she was like a loose fetal position. So I do wonder if the jury connected those dots of this psychologist to say, even though she's not talking about Cassie, that sounds familiar, and maybe now I understand.
Yeah. I fuck all that. We'll go back over. Let me get my little music playlist going, gang. Kid Cudi testifying right now. So we finna go read that shit. I'm finna read that, nigga. Bear with me, gang. We in this motherfucker. I'm finna read this shit. Cut my damn camera back out, gang. Let's go to it, man. Let's get in it, man. Let's see what Mr. McCuddy has to say, goddamn me. We're right there. That's the Kaplan guy. Kaplan, blah, blah, blah. I don't even give a fuck about him, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. Alright, now we're gonna get, cause Kid Cudi just started, man. So what they asked this guy, man. Alright. Mr. Kaplan back on the stand. The government asked him, when did you carry cash for Diddy? That nigga said 50 racks in his private jet. The government said, did you pick up cash for Diddy? 10 racks in Western Union from the Combs Enterprise. From the Diddy 6 Enterprise. What? It said what? What long-term relationships of Diddy were you aware of? He said Cassie, Kim, and Gina. Said, who is Kim? The mother of his children. Cassie, his girlfriend. Gina, another girlfriend. Like, Puff got hoes, man. Like, it's not surprising to get on there. That nigga got hoes and niggas, man. He got hoes to use them to get niggas, man. The government said the jet flight to Las Vegas, what was the layout of the jet? 4 chairs, a platoon down. I had a partial view over my right shoulder. When you witness violence, did it on Cassie, why didn't you intervene? It was like my career. After the government say after the last glass breaking, what did Combs do? He came forward. Cassie stayed in the back. He asked me to get creams to conceal the bruising on her face. Government said, how did you pay for it? He said, I paid for that shit on the motherfucking court, on the bad boy card, baby. Why did you leave bad boy, gang? Like the Diddy 6 Combs Enterprise, Jungle Lane Enterprises, man. He said, goddamn, I didn't think I could be covering things up like buying the witch hazel. What the fuck is that witch hazel? Like buying the witch hazel. Also, my father had prostate cancer. Any of violence, he threw things at Gina in the entry of the main home on Star Island. The government say, what was he throwing? Dang. Said, that nigga was throwing green apples, fam. Not the red ones, man. He trying to hit a apple hurt though. This nigga throwing apples trying to knock her ass. That's like a hard ass tennis ball, guy. That you can bite out of. The government say how hard? Nigga said very hard. Later I took medicine bag into their room. Diddy wanted me to leave quickly. Damn. He beat up Gina, goddamn me. He hit her ass with an apple. Bitch, boop. You know what they say, a nigga won't bust a grape out the fruit? Diddy said he busted the grape. He gonna get the fucking apple, bro. He said that Diddy wanted me to leave quickly. Government say, then what? Kaplan say, I heard Gina at the gate and male voices. Who? Security. When you left, what did you do? Nigga said, I collected myself and went to work for an integrated marketing firm. I had to collect myself after that shit, gang. I was I was mentally fucked up, dog. I couldn't even just go get another job, dog. I hard to sue that nigga for my mental abuse, gang. I couldn't even go right back to work after that shit, gang. That nigga had me fucked up. Alright. So now they cross-examine Kaplan. Diddy lawyer on that motherfucker. He say, why did you go to work for Diddy Enterprise? He said he was an incredible entrepreneur. I had learned from him. What Diddy lawyer say, what did Brian do as COO? Kaplan said, ensuring profitability of each unit, gang. Trying to make everybody make that money. Then Kaplan say, I was an employee with Revolt TV Lunch. Diddy lawyer say, tell me about it. He said, we were on the 6th floor of 1710 Broadway. Everyone was there. It was momentous. Like, that shit was deep. It was glorious, gang. Notorious, gang. He said diversity was important to Diddy, especially for African Americans. Diddy lawyer said, what did the Blue Flame do? Kaplan said, marketed for Ciroc. Damn, it's a nigga named Blue Flame. What is Diego? They own Johnny Walker and others. Diddy set up a marketing entity for Ciroc. Diddy lawyer says your job was, what was it? He said, for example, Mr. Combs would say we are going to leave the house. He meant 3 to 5 minutes. I had to check the list for the bags and the toiletry. It was a bag look at me if something wasn't in there. Is there any binder near you? He said, I can't read that. And then Kappa said it said Southern District. Did the lawyer say, I'm handing you something to refresh your recollection. Take a look as long as you want to. You can off-site training. You ran an off-site training, a graduate from Harvard Business School. Also, Kenny Burns. He said, I remember. You were effective, right? He was like, I worked hard. The lawyer said, I don't know how you will answer, but was it good or bad? The nigga said it was complicated. Then the lawyer said he didn't need to tell at you. He didn't need to yell at you when you brought 2 waters. He was like, nah, I worked hard. The nigga like, okay, who was Biggie? A huge rapper who unfortunately passed away. Wasn't Biggie's birthday party a holiday at motherfucking Diddy Enterprise? He said, yeah. Was it a creative environment? He was like, absolutely. It attract all kinds of creative people, lawyers, musicians, advertising people. A few specific questions. You use the corporate card? He was like, yeah. How did it pay? He said KK held his wallet with a black Amex card in it. You have no reason to think he kept track of how baby oil was paid for? The nigga said no reason. They said, or applesauce? He loves applesauce. Or cheeseburgers? Kaplan said on everything. Let's talk about the plane. You heard glass breaking. You didn't see it? He was like, I didn't see it. The incident with Gina, you walked into the house. Then there's a thin table. Nigga said, I don't know. You don't remember how a person could get out of the gate at 2-Star Island? He said, no, I just heard screaming and commotion. Screams of terror are of how... Well, screams of terror are of how can I open this gate? He was like, I don't remember. I don't know how to distinguish between the two. The lawyer said he threatened your job, but did he physically threaten you? He was like, no. You talked about Kim Porter. how she was different. Kaplan like his respect for her. They had incredible kids. He was like, thank you. Diddy lawyer said when you stepped to the hotel room for Diddy and Miss Porter, there was no baby, all right. Kaplan said lotion. You expressed caution about hotels while you cleaned the room afterwards. Hotel staff could sell photos. Anyone wants a payday. The lawyer, did the lawyer say you sent him a photo of him and Kim Porter? He was like, after she died, I was heartbroken for him. You were close? He was like, I invited him to my wedding. I didn't hear back though. You know what I'm saying? They said objection. Motherfucker, the lawyer said you respected him. Kaplan says yes. I was okay. That nigga said, what's in this photo? They show him a photo. Kaplan said, me, KK, and Diddy at the Terrible Airport. He just got to the jet. That's why there's champagne. Are you happy there, right? He was like, no, refreshing. It's that I was glad I found them. I had found the mascara in the back seat. They were like, they found you and subpoenaed you. I had to retain counsel right away. No further question. Redirect. The government now is redirected or recross-examining. He says, which incident shook you? Kaplan said the plane with Cassie and the apples with Gina. I felt guilty. I didn't do anything after the incident with Cassie on the plane. The government said, but you didn't see any injuries? People can always be injured without injuries being visible. The tonality and tension with the apples he threw at Gina, it was troubling. The government said, you told Miss Karam about both incidents? Kaplan said, yeah, and I told her I am unwilling to stand behind the behavior that I was quitting. Did the government say, did Christina say she would quit? Nah. How long did she stay after you told her? She said, hell, until recently, nigga. Till all this shit hit the fan, shit. She was still in that motherfucker. Next witness, gang. Shit could get deep right here. I want to see what this nigga used C4 with, man. How this nigga did. How he blew up Cudi car. They call up Kid Cudi, gang. Scott McCuddy. He take the stand. They say he got on the leather jacket, white shirt, blue jeans. He ain't wear a dress today. The government said, what did you do for work, gang? Kid Cudi said, I am an actor and musician known as Kid Cudi. They said, who is this? They show him a picture of Cassie. He said, it's Cassie. He said, we dated in 2011. The government said, who else she's involved with? Kid Cudi said, Sean Combs, Diddy man. Jangaline. What do you know about their status? That she and Diddy had some problems and they weren't dating anymore. In December 2011, did the law enforcement respond to your home? Kid Cudi said, yeah, I had a break-in. Cassie called me at 5:30 at 6 in the morning. She said Diddy had found out about us. She asked me to pick her up, so I did. The motherfucking government said, why? Kid Cudi said she was worried. So damn. This nigga found out it seemed like Puffy found out about Kid Cudi, man. And had his house broken into, man. But Kid Cudi not even a confrontational rapper, so motherfucker ain't trying to rob no Kid Cudi, that man. Like I ain't heard no shit like that yet. How the fuck? Soon as he get found out, but he go with Cassie, boom, shit start happening to her, nigga. So the first thing that happened to him when Diddy found out is that his house got broke in. Cassie called him scared. Had to been Diddy, cause she's scared his house get broke in. Now he gotta go pick up Cassie. I said, what was her demeanor? That nigga said very stressed and worried. Where did she go? The son said Marquise. Why? I thought it was safe. Off the radar. The government says, what else do you, who else did you speak with? Kid Cudi says, Capricorn Clark. She sounds near tears. So he talked to Capricorn Clark. She was crying. Or about to cry. The government said, what did she say? Kid Cudi said that Diddy in the car near my house. Damn. That nigga finna slide on click. Damn, boy. Kid Cudi said that Diddy's in the car near my crib, gang. Brian Steele said objection. They overruled that shit. The government said, you called Diddy? Kid Cudi said, I did. He said, I'm over here waiting for you. You know you done fucked up, playboy. I'm over here waiting on you, gang. Whenever you come over this motherfucker, nigga, you finna get it, boy. You finna get this work, playboy. God damn. The government said, when you arrived, what did the outside look like? Kid Cudi said, pretty normal. A security camera. Oh, the government said a security camera. They asked him the question, any security camera? Kid Cudi said, yeah, but I found out they weren't working. But the security cameras have been moved. The government said, did you move them? Kid Cudi said, no. The government said, what did you see inside your home? That nigga Kid Cudi said, my gifts were open, gang. Some stuff I got from Chanel, and my dog was locked up in the bathroom. This small moving shit, man. That nigga that had to go, that had this security guard with his goons, man. That was the booty goons, gang. You fucking with Puff Freak House, them goons coming. Cassie said she ain't want to do Freak House no more. Roger Buns and D-Rock came and got her, nigga. Find out Kid Cudi and her talking. Somebody ran and cut the crib. All his gifts open, the nigga dog. Like, at least they didn't kill the dog. It would have been crazy if Diddy would have killed the dog, gang. That would have been some real cold-hearted shit right there. Anyway, the nigga said, how long have you had your dog? Oh, hold on. Okay, here we go. The government said, how did you usually leave your dog? He said, I let him roam. They said, how long have you had your dog? Kid Cudi say 3 years. The government said, what changes were behavior of your dog after the break-in? Kid Cudi said he was jittery, on edge all the time. He said, I got back in and called Diddy again. I was looking for him. I wanted to fight him, you know. It's up, boy. Nigga done broke in my crib. Motherfucker. You goddamn me got my dog, motherfucker. It's up, gang. Got my dog on edge. He need he needs some CBD now. You know? You done fucked him up, man. I gotta feed him CBD. Calm down, bro. I gotta see you, bro. We gotta have that one. All right. I said, did he answer? Yeah, he did. I'm on my way. I thought to myself, Brian Skinner, Jack again, Brian. The judge says ground still non-responsive, overruled. The judge says ask a new question. The government says when you saw Cassie, how did she sing? Kid Cudi said depressed. Did you see Cassie in Connecticut? Yup, she needed it. Did Combs call you? Yep. He hit me a few times. Hit? He called me. You know what I'm saying? He called me, gang. He was calling me like a motherfucker. What did he say? Kid Cudi said that I didn't want to talk with him. He broke into my house, hurt my dog. Mm. Did you and Cassie break up? She said, yeah. Government said, what about your car, gang? Alright, gang. Hold on. Let me put my shit on right. Hold on. What about your car, gang? Kid Cudi said my dog babysitter called me and told me my car was on fire, bro. The government said, where were you? He said, I was at a relative of my ex-girlfriend. The government said, where did you go? Kid Cudi said, to my house. 8925 Hollywood Hills Road, guys. Let me show you 6 pictures. Do you recognize? Kid Cudi like, yeah, that's my Porsche, man. That's the damage to my Porsche from the cocktail. That nigga threw a damn one of them things on GTA, man. He got the look on that. you got a tire hanging out the bottom and shit. Set that bitch on fire. That nigga that threw a hood bomb. Who took these photos? The government asked. Kid Cudi say Chip, a good friend and a collaborator. The government said, what's depicted here? Kid Cudi says the hole they cut in the roof of my car to put the damn thing in there, bro. They said, what was your reaction to your car being set on fire? That nigga Kid Cudi said, what the fuck? What the hell? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? And it goes on that type of shit, bro. Like, what the fuck? I didn't know it was that good. God damn. Ah, that had took a break, guys. Oh shit. Oh man. That nigga funny, boy. Uh that nigga did it funny, man. He done threw this nigga shit in there, bro. Niggas like, what the hell? What the hell? You flip my shit on fire, guy? God damn. Alright. Boo. They go back in them motherfuckers. The government says, was the damage on your car present before the call from the dog sitter? Kid Cudi said no. Did you think it was an accidental or intentional? Kid Cudi said intentional. Ah, man. He gonna air Diddy out, man. He finna get his revenge, gang. That nigga intended to do that shit. The government said, where did you last see Cassie? Cassie said, damn. Kid Cudi said at the Soho Hotel, at the Soho House. I reached out to Diddy and said, let's talk. This is getting out of hand. Shit getting out of hand, gang. We gonna have to settle this like some mob boss shit. Now we gotta have a meeting to stop our teams from beefing. Cause you want to come and cut a hole in nigga cars and throw motherfucking bombs in the game. This nigga crazy, man. This nigga. Brian Steele said, can we have a sidebar? The judge said, do you have an objection? Steele said, yes. Motherfucker judge said, sustain, disregard, and move on, guys. The government says, now the government came back. That was Diddy lawyer tried to object the shit. Now the government came back and said, who set up the meeting at the Soho House? He said, D-Rock and my manager. There go D-Rock again, gang. We looked at his big head ass on the last screen. We're gonna look back at D-Rock and Puff, man. Niggas who setting up the means. This the same nigga who seen Suge Knight. D-Rock, man. D-Rock and Puff, it should be. I think D-Rock gonna get in there Rico with him. D-Rock still on his side. He gonna end up Rico unless he starts snitching. Now, in this video, they say he took the bid for big he did a bid for Big and Smalls and shit. He went down for Biggie and shit. Let's see if he gonna go down for Puffy, gang. Cause he saw his name all over this motherfucker, bro. He sitting on me. He seeing Suge Knight, telling Puff, nigga. He started the shit with Suge Knight. Nigga jumped out. Yeah, I'm Biggie's boy and all that shit. Like, they ain't have to do that shit. Cause let Suge be eating. Let that nigga mind his business and go and do what he doing, gang. Anyway, the government said, what was Diddy doing? That nigga said, that nigga said, that nigga Kid Cudi said, that nigga was standing there like a Marvel supervillain. That was some laughter, I heard. Nigga said that motherfucker playboy. Finna burn this shit down, man. He standing that motherfucker like the evil nigga from Spider-Man, guy. Like the Joker. Nah, you know he had the Joker outfit on. That's what he had. So he was standing over there looking like the motherfucking Joker that day. Okay. And then Kid Cudi said, he said, we were homies. You know that is my girl. The government said, what did you say? And the Kid Cudi said, I thought you had broken up. Then Diddy offered me water twice. That nigga was trying to drug that nigga, fool. It was some GHB in that shit. He had to think about it. He said, man, I thought y'all broke up. While they talking this shit, that nigga did it. Man, you want the water, Playboy? You sure? You sure, Playboy? You look thirsty, man. You sure, gang? All right, man. I was just trying to. It's lemonade. that nigga did it like, oh, that's it. I wouldn't even take a drink from a nigga that done blew up my car, but especially if you over there looking like a Marvel supervillain guy. That done blew up Marvel. Marvel gonna go crazy on D in the plus today, man. God damn, that nigga Diddy's over there, motherfucker. Hey, you want this water? You look thirsty, man. You should drink it, nigga. He'd probably make that nigga drink it like eat the cake, anime. Drink this motherfucking water, nigga. Fuck. Kid Cudi said it was weird. Diddy being so calm. Like, boy, he was on one. He was gonna drug your ass. The government said, what did Cassie say? Kid Cudi said that we had fallen in love. Things happened. The government said, what did you say to Diddy? Kid Cudi said, what about my car? And he said, I don't know what you talking about. I walked away. Damn. The government said, did you see Diddy later? That nigga said, yeah. Kid Cudi said, yeah. A few years later at the Soho house, he said, I'm just sorry for all that bullshit. I was surprised, so I found peace with it. Damn. They said no further questions at this time. But still get up that motherfucker. Nigga Brian still goddamn me. He said, I want to ask you some questions about your Porsche, nigga, in 2022. The motherfucking Kid Cudi said 2012, fam. What you talking about? My Porsche in 2022 ain't got shit to do with what happened back then, fam. What is you talking about? Oh, the nigga Diddy lawyer says, I apologize. You get a call about the damage to your vehicle in the surveillance photo. He said, no, my dog babysitter did send me pictures of the damage. Brian Steele said the DNA taken. Are you aware it came back being a female? The nigga said they said objection, no foundation. Sustained. Diddy lawyer said, do you know there was DNA results? The judge said, I allow that. Kid Cudi said no. Diddy lawyer says, Cassie told you it was over. Kid Cudi said, we just stopped talking. Diddy lawyer said, you told this honorable court and this jury that she played you out. That nigga Kid Cudi said, yeah. Brian Steele said you played you hold on, she played you and you had no clue. That nigga Kid Cudi said no clue. In 2011, you went on the tour. Kid Cudi said, yup. That's Diddy lawyer said 65 locations. Cudi said, yeah. At the same time, Diddy is an icon, fair to say. Kid Cudi said, yeah. You and Cassie had a sexual relationship. They said objection, sidebar. After the sidebar, Brian Steele says, can I? The judge says, no, you can do, no, you can't do that on redirect. Brian Steele said, do you want to tell me something? Kid Cudi said, Sean Combs asked about me doing a song with Cassie in 2010. Brian Steele said, thank you. I gotta refresh it up, gang. Know how the court system, you gotta type all this shit. But I think I was up for okay. You was on tour, sidebar, Where the fuck I'm at? Alright, let me see. After the sidebar, yeah. Mm-hmm. I Diddy lawyer said you believe that they left your front door unlocked. Kid Cudi said, yup. He said, you believe that they left your front door. He said, yeah. Still said wasn't no front forced entry. Kid Cudi said no. Still said just possessed open. Door in the bathroom. I'm not belittling it. I'm just asking. You called Diddy? Cudi said, yeah. He was calm. Said, yeah. You went to see him. You didn't think he had a gun? That nigga Cudi said, I couldn't call it. You are a strong person. That's how you characterize yourself. That nigga Cudi said, yeah, this crossed the line. Still said Cassie told you she was abused. Cudi said, yup. Damn, everybody know that. Everybody know she was abused now. It ain't no secret. How can you keep it? And my nigga done blew up Kid Cudi car, bro. And he tried to poison that nigga. He tried to get him to drink the water, fam. That was crazy work. Yeah, that's all they got right now. That was crazy work, man. He tried to get that nigga to drink the water, fam. Damn, gang. He's a dirty motherfucker, man. He was gonna drug that nigga. I think he was gonna overdose that nigga. Damn. It's probably how a lot of celebrities done died, man. Nigga was mad at him and overdosed their ass, man. He was finna overdose Cudi, gang. He was finna fuck that nigga up, man. Oh shit. Damn, that's wild. That's some crazy shit to think about, man. What if they said it was a female DNA, what if he had Cassie to goddamn do the bomb and shit, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. He had Cassie to do the bomb to prove that she ain't in love with Cudi no more. A nigga was finna kill that nigga just to make sure he wouldn't. He wanted to kill him coolly though. He wanted that nigga to get that water. Hey man, get some. You thirsty, bro? You looking parched over there, bro. You look like you could use like this beverage, bro. Like get some of these, dude. Come on, man. Come on, gang. Get this, dude. This nigga crazy, man. After he been beating motherfuckers, man. Beating and mistreating, man. First sex cartel, fam, in America. Diddy gang, man. Meek Mill was down. He was around. All them people that was around, just think about it, all them celebrities. All them celebrities, man, used to be at them parties, man. Niggas know what was going on, man. Everybody done seen Diddy get his ass. Look at me. Talking about just to put on the public record. Craziest thing I ever seen at pub parties, coke and vibes. What kind of vibes was them, gang? What you mean in vibes? That's all going on in these parties. I'm from North. Now he done put an F on there. He ain't never spelled North like that. I'm from North. And that ain't even how you spell it. It's supposed to be an A-W, bro. North. I'm from North. Philly. I had millions since I was 23. I'm down. I don't even want to be addicted to weed. Not judging, but I just see it differently. No. You was at them Diddy parties, Playboy. Your ass was hurting in the pool. Stop it. Look at this. Hey, look at it. Look at it. They put the shit side by side.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah. Hey, what's up, King Son?
Yeah. And then you put out this shit. And Loose Cannon with that academic interview, that was just full bait. Also, he's a nobody saying he just walked up and robbed me. I was running into Suge Knight and Big U when I came to LA. No camera, phone vibes. Nigga. No camera, phone vibes, gang. I was running into them niggas in the streets. Man, me, shut your ass up, man. That nigga be wanting to be too real, man. I was showing niggas out there it's more than life with black success. What you show niggas? Cause I ain't say you do shit but buy chains and shit and try to beef with Drake, DJ Academics and shit, be all tough and shit. In the midst of this Diddy on federal trial, I want to bring back up this little Rod nigga and his lawsuit that was dropped. He never said my name, but these blogs amplified it. That's the whole agenda against me. My culture. Don't believe it, but it's an attack on my brand, gang. Bro, how we attacking your brand when you with this dude?
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
Man, what? You love Diddy, nigga. And what? Oh, my God. Oh, no. What they doing, guys? That's the Diddy party, man. That's how they was coming out, man. Damn, they did say that nigga was mean with Obama, man.
Yeah, there you go. Y'all, thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this.
Man, God damn.
Yeah, there you go. Y'all, thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for
It don't even want to play, gang. Like, this shit is crazy. This video don't even want to play, man. We don't even want to see it, man. That shit crazy. Nigga got Obama, man. Obeezy, gang. At the Diddy parties, gang. Damn, man. Black excellence, dog. Everybody laying on the bed and shit. Yeah, love that, nigga. We gotta get these parties, nigga. We gotta kick these action up, bro. Meanwhile, he blowing up nigga car. Blowing up after the party. After the party, it's the after party. Yeah. After the show, it's the lobby. Yeah. Oh shit, man. Damn, man. That nigga said that shit was intentional, gang. Oh yeah. We got Kid Cudi going in the court and shit.
Play it like Crystal. Hold up, you got this like Crystal Lake.
See, that Obama shit didn't even want to play, bro. It was like, no.
Look great.
Nah, that's what he had on the court. Motherfucking leather jacket with the blue jeans, smoking a cigarette, smoking cool. Like, man, this is a classic, gang. Oh, bitch.
Hold up, you got this like Crystal Lake.
Blew up my fucking car. I was like, what the hell? Look at what he smoking coals. Nigga, them Newports. It's a hard day, gang. What the fuck, man? Puff really did that shit. He needs to apologize to me about that shit. And I just got over it, gang. Day and night. I ain't in the frame, I and night. This shit's crazy, bro. Look at this shit, bro. That's it. And you know when the motherfucking gas gets on, man. Nigga, your car on fire. That's a hard call, man. And that's how he was up in that bitch. Yeah.
I want to put you get whatever I want. I have to get. Savage. I'm a savage. Oh, I'm a savage. Whatever I want to put you get. Whatever I want, I have to get.
Whatever he want, he gotta get, fool. He wanted that nigga car blew up. Nigga, you got my girl. The fuck? Nigga said, I thought y'all were broke up. You thought we were broke up, huh? Hey, drink some of this water. Drink some of this water, playboy. Since you thought, huh? Oh, you ain't thirsty? Oh, I just thought you looked the parts, gang. God damn, B. That nigga had GHB in that shit, fam. Man, that shit is ridiculous, man. We gonna get back to the testimony, see what else we got on there, man. Let's go back to the testimony. Man, what else we gonna find out, boy? We gonna find out he killed Tupac, y'all. I'm telling you, mark my words. By the end of this trial game, the D-Rock nigga gonna snitch on him, fam. The D-Rock nigga, he gonna snitch on him, fam. The D-Rock nigga gonna get him. I promise you. That's who gonna tell us he really killed Big, cause that was Big Man, you know what I'm saying? That's Biggie homeboy, D-Rock, originally. That's up. Let's go to it. Let's go to it, man. D-Rock, man. He took the big for big. That's what they said, man. This look at that. He pulling up with D-Rock right there. Dang, I don't even want to see that, man. I don't even want to see Obama as part out. Bro, where that shit at, man? Don't tell me that I took it down off the internet. I just looked at it. It was on Diddy TV. What this is?
New Airwick Advanced plugin with anti-fading technology. Your fragrance, your
Cut it out. I'm gonna have to go back through that, man.
Never before published footage of Diddy and Cassie in November 2017 at a tropical villa in Punta Mita, Mexico, where they were filmed having some fun under the sun before their relationship imploded. Check this out.
Turn the music down. Never mind, fuck love.
He was ready to get freaky dead, man. Nah, back to what I was saying. Nah, man, where the video is, and I took that shit out. There it go. This the nigga that gonna snitch on him. I think he gonna tell us that nigga killed Biggie Smile.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? This is a Diddy, Biggie, Notorious, Little Kim, D-Rock blog. First of all, I want to just thank everybody for making Notorious such a successful movie. The biggest movie release in Fox Searchlight history. That's like 24 million first 4-day weekend. If you ain't see it, go see it. It's up to 31 million, right? 31 million right now. Yo, we just want to say thank you, man. Thank you. See this brother behind me? Y'all saw like the most stand-up nigga in the world, D-Rock. That's D-Rock. In the movie they had him. They had you light skin.
Yeah, had me light skin with a hairpiece.
light skin with a fucked up haircut. But that's how my man D-Rock. Look, that's the true part of the story. You know what I'm saying? He went and took the bid for bid. You got all these niggas out here that's motherfucking just ratting and speaking on
they're
shit.
not organic.
And speaking on shit when
very not organic.
They're not authentic.
No, organic. Yeah, we doing it natural. Let's do it natural. You want to do it natural?
These niggas is not natural. Yeah. They motherfucking get themselves in some shit and they bring their man down. My man stand up cat right here. And you know, that's D-Rock. Y'all should know him. Oh yeah, we gonna get a Lil Kim. Shout out to Lil Kim.
That's right.
You know, Kim hit me and she's like, yo, Puff, imagine how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I gotta say that, you know, what y'all saw in the movie about Kim, that's not like the real Kimberly Jones.
She more than that.
You know what I'm saying?
I really didn't meet her like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Kim's more than that.
Yeah.
Kim is more than that.
The only thing I can say about the movie that you may have got that was really great from their relationship is that he really respected her as an artist, as an MC, and was into her like that. All the other extra stuff, you know, it's a movie. And Kim will have her chance. Her own movie will come out there. But, yo, so, you know, give Kim her chance. Don't believe what you saw in the movie. It wasn't just about that. She was with us. You know what I'm saying? That was our queen. You know what I'm saying? She'll always be the queen.
That's right.
And, you know, and she got every right to feel that way. And the movie really about Big. So don't focus on none of our parts. Because focus on Big as the man. You know what I'm saying?
Happy to be there. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy somebody that will willingly to play my character, and I'm still here in my prime. We here at the average nigga that do a movie. The average nigga that do a movie is gone. We here.
We at the state right now. Hold on. Let me. We not in a park.
Not at all. We at the crib.
We at the crib right now. And we just having a good time. It's in the morning. We just got finished our workout. You know, I'm not gonna.
Look how he followed Diddy, man. Like he did it, man. He know the deepest, darkest secret. Like he know that if that boy don't hit that stand, we know his ass in the Rico.
I'll show you on the crib, but I'm gonna show you that's my tennis court back there and my playground for the kids.
That's right.
This ain't Central Park. This the crib.
Negative.
Yeah. But
this is us. And I'm gonna tell you something right now.
Hey, yo, hold on. And then also, soon we're gonna address. There's a lot of niggas getting their mouths all loose. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
And it's a recession.
All I'm gonna say is stop.
And they're making up lies and things like that. Come on, man.
Negative.
Come on, man. If you ain't D-Rock or you ain't Big, you know what I'm saying?
Stop it, man. It ain't even that serious, man. Stop it, man.
You're not organic.
Let me tell you, and this man right here don't owe nobody nothing. He do what he do, and y'all do what y'all do. Remember that, man.
You know, I owe my fans everything, man.
That's
and
right.
I love y'all. I
That's
appreciate
the only
y'all.
people he owe.
Thank y'all. We're gonna end this blog on a positive note. We headed to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
You know, about to make
Pittsburgh. That's his squad.
Why don't we make
That's his squad.
Pittsburgh's my squad.
That's his squad.
Why don't we make a snowman rock? Let's make a. We feeling a good
We
mood.
need some shovels and buckets though. We don't have nothing now. It's just us. Man.
You know,
we don't have nothing.
Hey, yo. It's a recession. Let's go to work. Let's be positive. Let's help one another. I love y'all. Signing off from the estate is your boy Diddy.
That's
y'all
right.
Finally met the real D-Rock.
We catch y'all on the other way around. We'll still be here. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. I bet, sir. Guys, let's get into it. Damn, Cudi still up there, man. What you talking about? Yeah. but I couldn't call it. Woo doo woo. Okay. He asked Cudi, did she say she had been abused? Cudi said yes. Brian Steele, Diddy lawyer, said, but she never said she was sexually abused. True? Cudi said she did not. Diddy lawyer said, you loved her? Tell me if I'm wrong. Cudi said, I did. Steele said, you got played by the same person who played Diddy, Cassie. Diddy lawyer continued to say, in the 13 years since, have you ever been notified in California that there has been any more actions on this car fire? He was like, no. Did Cassie have multiple phones? The nigga said, I don't remember. That nigga said 3512, some shit. Cudi said, if I said it, I said it. Motherfucking Diddy lawyer said, do you know what a burner phone is? Cudi said, untraceable. Diddy lawyer said, the trespass, you call it the break-in. Cassie told you she giving your address to Diddy? Cudi said, yup, in the morning. Motherfucker said, he getting hit it in the morning. Yup, she gave that nigga the address, man. She gave him the low. Kid Cudi house got broke in. Nigga car got set on fire. Cruelty to animals, yo. Like the Joker said, cruelty to animals, yo. Chico, get your stupid ass over here. Diddy and them did that boy down like this, bro. Bro, the next round. Get your stupid ass over here. Cruelty to animal, huh? I did cut it down like this, guys. After the commercial break.
It's lunchtime, eh?
We're gonna get you right.
Run! Chico, run! Chico, no! Yeah, get that fucker! I know you like dark meat. I'm like, after they're fast, this is like they're sponsored by Nike. Hey, black man can jump, this is.
Black man can jump, it's it. That's how Diddy was, nigga. Like, oh yeah, get that nigga. That done went in the Kid Cudi crib, bro. That nigga dog was like this on their ass. They had the motherfucker.
Got something for him.
I got something for him.
I can't believe he did that to our dog, eh? You Uncle Willie's son. You Uncle Willie's son.
Kid Cudi, Uncle Willie's son, nigga. You hear me? They was like, nigga, I can't believe he did that to a dog. No. This D-Rock, man. This D-Rock and Roger Buns, man. They Uncle Willie's son.
We don't play that shit. Cruelty to animals. That's that cruelty to animals. Chico, get your stupid ass over here, eh? That's wrong, that's it. That's wrong. He did nothing to you.
Cruelty to animals.
Get down. Come on, man. Look at my roof. You play too much. Now, if I get into it with them, I gotta live here, and you don't. Don't be getting it. You gonna get me in trouble. Get out the way. Just move.
Just move. Cruelty to animals, huh? Facts, man. They done did that boy a dog like that. God damn, man. Motherfucker Cudi say no problem, man. They redirect the government back on that now. They say, did Cassie confide in you about the abuse? Cudi said that he would hit her. sometimes kick her, beat her like y'all seen on that goddamn video. And give her the beats, my nigga. I want to see the full video. That bit was long. That bit was like 15 minutes, 16 minutes. This what she told Cudi that nigga do. Come here. What? I gotta say though, every time I watch this video, man, Cassie a gangster. It's like she'll get right up. She was like, gone, nigga, damn. And then she get up. She a gangster. Take her a breath. And she just walk on up like ain't nothing happened. Pick up her shit. Let me get my things. This is right after she walked out of a freak out. This the type of shit that happen when you say no to Diddy. You say no to Jungle Lane. See how that nigga hit that column? Shit. The government said the day of the break-in, she was carefree. Was she carefree? Cudi said no. What did Capricorn Cart tell you? He said Diddy and affiliate forced her into a car to come to my house. I called the police. The government said, how do you describe Cassidy that day? He said, that really shook him. I just really shook him finding out about us. The government said, what did your relationship with Cassie? How did your relationship? Why did your relationship with Cassie end? Kid Cudi said the drama. It was getting out of hand. I wanted to give space. Government said, what drama? The break-in for my safety, her safety. Objection, ground, speculation, overruled, gang. Why did you have safety concerns? Because I seen Diddy was violent. Brian still said, Your Honor, may we approach. They do that, the meeting, blah, blah, blah. The goddamn government started back. They said the meeting at the Soho House. Diddy said, I don't know what you were talking about your car. Did you believe him? Objection, rephrase. What was your understanding? Cudi said that he would lie. No further questions. Any recalls? They said, no, Your Honor. Yeah, Kid Cudi gone, man. He done, guy. Dang, bro. He done blew up that man goddamn car by Cassie. And Cassie was on some more shit, like, but I guess if she get beat up enough, you gonna tell the nigga what the hell. Yeah, you gonna tell that nigga address. Nigga gonna beat the hell out of you, guy. I took a break, man. Kurt is adjourned. That shit is crazy.
to go with.
Yeah, so this is a big deal. And to Jen's point, if I'm the judge, I don't allow it at all. Now, it's a game changer. Why? Because I think
his corporate credit card and cleaned up the rooms after Diddy left before the maid service came in. Now, why do that? Why do it before the maid service comes? The defense wants to go with.
Yeah, so this is a big deal. And to Jen's point, if I'm the judge, I don't allow it at all. Now, it's a game changer.
Came out. That was a little confusing. So Kid Cudi finds out that Sean Holmes is at his house because Capricorn Clark, the assistant, calls Headshot and Kathy from the driveway in the car, very scared, and says, "Look, Holmes is in the house." Now Kid Cudi gets very upset. He says he's going over there. So he drives over there and he says that he calls Sean Holmes and he says, "Hey, mother effer, why are you in my house?" And Diddy says something like, "I just want to talk." Now when he gets to the house, Diddy's no longer there.
Quote, she went into the fetal position. The security guard, Israel Flores, from the hotel said Cassie was bundled up in the corner. And Carrie Morgan, who was Cassie's best friend and testified to corroborate her account, she said, quote, she was like a loose fetal position. So I do wonder if the jury connected those dots of this psychologist to say, even though she's not talking about Cassie, that sounds familiar, and maybe now I understand more some of the behaviors of Cassie.
And there were a lot of objections, almost as if her vocabulary was so precious because of those details, that the defense did not want that jigsaw puzzle to come into full view if they were relating to that. There was also moments, though, when she, the psychologist, talked about the coping mechanisms that are used and how one decides to tell about the abuse, and also about the returning to the relationship. Describe to me a little bit about the way in which you talked about a domestic abuse victim not feeling as though they could escape, even if they wanted to.
Yeah, so she said that a lot of domestic violence victims, they can feel trapped in the relationship. That is the word that she used. She said that these relationships often begin with love, so these victims can want that love. They are yearning for that. So that could be one reason why they come back. Another reason is financials. She explained that oftentimes the abuser will control all the finances in a relationship, and that is their way to control the victim. This was another aha moment for me, a light bulb moment where I said, that's what Cassie testified to. Looking down at my notes from court, Cassie said that Diddy controlled her rent, her cars, her clothing, her travel, and even cash. So again, I wonder if the jury said, that sounds familiar.
There's a lot more to unpack, including that next witness, George Kaplan, who'll be back on the stand tomorrow. An assistant will unpack that. I want to talk to our great legal minds as well. So follow me over to the table because we've got some really great conversations ahead. We have got defense attorney Joey Jackson, who is with us today. Also, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, where, of course, this trial is taking place, Jennifer Rogers, and defense attorney, of course, Stacey Schneider is here as well. All right, we got a lot to unpack, so let's get right into it. And I want to begin with you, Jennifer. This is your old office as well. You heard from the expert witness, Dawn Hughes, this psychologist who was testifying as a blind expert, meaning she did not know Diddy, didn't know Cassie Ventura, and she was trying to paint a picture in general terms. How does this play for a jury? Because I gotta tell you, there were so many objections today, keeping her on the tightest of leashes. She couldn't get into many things. It had to be generalized.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful. I mean, I think the reason you saw so many objections is because the defense realized that the jury was making those connections that Elizabeth was just talking about, right? They're saying, oh, credit cards, oh, rent, financial control. Yeah, we heard all of that from Cassie Ventura. So there's no question it was very helpful for the government's case, harmful to the defense's case. I was a little surprised to see it, to be honest. I haven't seen that kind of testimony come in very often. So
why were you surprised? Because they even let it in? Or
exactly. I think it's really, really uncommon. I haven't seen anything like it before. I mean, an expert usually does that case, right? Looks at the documents in your case, if necessary, interviews the witnesses in your case to draw on and to then.
But there are subject matter experts, right, who could maybe talk about more broadly. But you're saying what was odd was that she had not reviewed, had not talked to these people. And what's the intimation? That by failing to do so, she was overgeneralizing and therefore not having credibility? Because that's what the defense wants to go with.
Yeah, so this is a big deal. And to Jen's point, if I'm the judge, I don't allow it at all. Now, it's a game changer. Why? Because I think inquiring minds want to know, right, what was the coercion? If this is about sex trafficking and not a freaky relationship, it's about the fact that I coerced you to do this.
But
not
you
of
can
your
talk
free
about
will.
coercion.
Yes, I get it. But inferences are drawn. If you're controlling everything, if you're behaving as a victim in this way, if you feel in love with someone and you have this mold of a person, right, who, if you're a victim of this violence, you tend to act this way, what is the inference that's going to be made, right? A duck by any name is a duck. And so the reality is what does the defense have to rely on? The defense has to rely on the fact that you did not interview this specific witness. Not every witness is the same. We don't live in a cookie cutter society. You never met, right, a defendant who you testified for. You're always testifying for the victims. You're a hired gun in this particular situation. You've met with the prosecutors multiple times, and you've coordinated your testimony such that those dots can be connected. That's the defense argument. But the fact that she testified, very powerful for the prosecution, and if the jury draws those inferences of coercion, there is problems in Diddy land.
The prosecution and the defense, they sparred over the testimony of a forensic psychologist. Prosecutors also released dozens of new photos seen by the jury, revealing what police seized in the raid on Diddy's Miami Beach mansion. And the judge signed an immunity order to force Diddy's former executive assistant to testify. But here's the big question tonight. Will the jury, the actual jury, connect the dots between the explanation of a trauma bond and the world that Cassie Ventura said that she lived in? The prosecution called psychologist Dawn Hughes to explain why Cassie may have stayed in an abusive relationship with Diddy for years. The judge had already ruled that she could not talk about coercive control, but she could discuss more broadly why victims may choose to stay in violent relationships or feel like they could not leave them. Hughes testified, quote, "When you're getting unpredictable abuse and unpredictable love, that creates this intermittent cycle. It's like a slot machine." She went on to say, you keep going back because you want that good feeling. They want that good partner that they got, fell in love with, and that becomes an immense trauma bond. Now, the defense repeatedly pointed out how Hughes had not reviewed any evidence in this case. More on that in a moment. But on redirect, the prosecutor finished with what you might call a kind of a legal mic drop. She asked Hughes if she'd been retained broadly by defense attorneys. She said, yes, of course. The prosecutor then asked, in fact, have you previously been retained by any of the defendant's attorneys here in this case? She responded, yes, I have. Now, she wasn't saying that it was actually this matter with Sean Diddy Combs, but the defense attorney she's talking about was Brian Steele. And his legal team later said that Steele in a different case, chose not to use Hughes as a witness in that case that he was on at the time. And the client that he was dealing with was a victim of domestic violence herself. Now, that testimony will be a lot for the jury to unpack and try to pull apart. So will all the evidence taken from Diddy's mansion in Miami Beach just last year. Police seized parts of AR-15s. Some had their serial numbers scratched off. They found a loaded handgun. There were high heels, a lot of them. Also bottles and bottles of Astroglide and baby oil and lubricant. And police discovered an assortment of drugs, including ketamine and cocaine and MDMA. The special agent in charge of that raid testified about all of it, including 6 people on the property who were briefly put in handcuffs. Now, the last witness of the day was Diddy's former executive assistant, George Kaplan. Now, he tried to plead the Fifth to protect against self-incrimination, but the judge, by granting him immunity, paved the way for him to actually go on the stand. And once he got on the stand, he testified about getting his boss drugs at times. He testified about setting up and cleaning up Diddy's hotel rooms. He stocked them with clothing and candles and liquor and baby oil. He bought some of these room supplies, he says, with his corporate credit card and cleaned up the rooms after Diddy left before the maid service came in. Now, why do that? Why do it before the maid service comes in? Well, because Kaplan put it this way. Protecting him and protecting his public image was very important, and that was something I was very keen on doing. Now, Cassie testified that Kaplan quit after seeing Diddy abuse her. Now, we haven't heard that from him yet, but he is back on the stand in the morning. And you know who else prosecutors plan to call? Rapper Kid Cudi. Recall that Cassie testified that she was once in a relationship with him, and that sent Diddy spiraling into a jealous rage. Back with us tonight, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who witnessed all the testimony in court with me today. You've been following along so closely. So talk to me about this forensic and clinical psychologist. I mean, it was very pivotal for her to come in and try to explain this looming question of why might someone stay, because Cassie's credibility might be questioned for those who don't understand why.
This was a pivotal witness for the prosecution because these sex crimes, they can be very confusing for a jury. There's a lot of gray area. This is not black and white. So she came on to testify to some of the behaviors that are common among all trauma victims, whether that is a victim of domestic violence, of sexual abuse, even of something totally unrelated to this. And that was key for the prosecution because she said, I am not related to this trial. I have not met with anyone. I have not met with the defendant, Sean Combs. I have not met with any of the government's witnesses, such as Cassie. So she came into this, what she said, as a blind witness, but she did corroborate what Cassie and some other witnesses have said. For instance, there was one part that really stuck out to me, Laura, when I was sitting there in the courthouse. She said that, quote, it may be curling up in a ball on the floor. That was something that she explained for a common behavior that could be seen by a victim of domestic violence. Basically saying they may curl up on a ball on the floor so that they basically stop the violence that is happening to them. Now, why this stood out to me is because I remembered that this was very similar to what Cassie testified to what we saw in the video that our team at CNN broke, that hotel surveillance video when she curled up in the fetal position. And we went back to some other testimony. Dawn Richard, you remember her, she said about Cassie, quote, she went into the fetal position. The security guard, Israel Flores from the hotel, said Cassie was bundled up in the corner. And Carrie Morgan, who was Cassie's best friend and testified to corroborate her account, she said, quote, she was like a loose fetal position. So I do wonder if the jury connected those dots of this psychologist to say, even though she's not talking about Cassie, that sounds familiar, and maybe now I understand more some of the behaviors of Cassie.
And there were a lot of objections, almost as if her vocabulary was so precious because of those details, that the defense did not want that jigsaw puzzle to come into full view if they were relating to that. There was also moments, though, when she, the psychologist, talked about the coping mechanisms that are used and how one decides to tell about the abuse, and also about the returning to the relationship. Describe to me a little bit about the way in which she talked about a domestic abuse victim not feeling as though they could escape, even if they wanted to.
Yeah, so she said that a lot of domestic violence victims, they can feel trapped in the relationship. That is the word that she used. She said that these relationships often begin with love, so these victims can want that love. They are yearning for that. So that could be one reason why they come back. Another reason is financials. She explained that oftentimes the abuser will control all the finances in a relationship, and that is their way to control the victim. This was another aha moment for me, a light bulb moment where I said, that's what Cassie testified to. Looking down at my notes from court, Cassie said that Diddy controlled her rent, her cars, her clothing, her travel, and even cash. So again, I wonder if the jury said, that sounds familiar.
There's a lot more to unpack, including that next witness, George Kaplan, who'll be back on the stand tomorrow. An assistant will unpack that. I want to talk to our great legal minds as well. So follow me over to the table because we've got some really great conversations ahead. We have got defense attorney Joey Jackson, who is with us today. Also, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, where, of course, this trial is taking place, Jennifer Rogers, and defense attorney, of course, Stacey Schneider is here as well. All right, we got a lot to unpack, so let's get right into it. And I want to begin with you, Jennifer. This is your old office as well. You heard from the expert witness, Dawn Hughes, this psychologist who was testifying as a blind expert, meaning she did not know Diddy, didn't know Cassie Ventura, and she was trying to paint a picture in general terms. How does this play for a jury? Because I gotta tell you, there were so many objections today, keeping her on the tightest of leashes. She couldn't get into many things. It had to be generalized.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful. I mean, I think the reason you saw so many objections is because the defense realized that the jury was making those connections that Elizabeth was just talking about, right? They're saying, oh, credit cards, oh, rent, financial control. Yeah, we heard all of that from Cassie Ventura. So there's no question it's very helpful for the government's case, harmful to the defense's case. I was a little surprised to see it, to be honest. I haven't seen that kind of testimony come in very often. So
why were you surprised? Because they even let it in? Or
exactly. I think it's really, really uncommon. I haven't seen anything like it before. I mean, an expert usually does that case, right? Looks at the documents in your case, and if necessary, interviews the witnesses in your case to draw on and to then.
But there are subject matter experts, right, who could maybe talk about more broadly. But you're saying what was odd was that she had not reviewed, had not talked to these people. And what's the intimation? That by failing to do so, she was overgeneralizing and therefore not having credibility? Because that's what the defense wants to go with.
Yeah, so this is a big deal. And to Jen's point, if I'm the judge, I don't allow it at all. Now, it's a game changer. Why? Because I think inquiring minds want to know, right, what was the coercion? If this is about sex trafficking and not a freaky relationship, it's about the fact that I coerced you to do this.
But
not
you can talk about
will.
coercion.
Yes, I get it. But inferences are drawn. If you're controlling everything, if you're behaving as a victim in this way, if you feel in love with someone and you have this mold of a person, right, who, if you're a victim of this violence, you tend to act this way, what is the inference that's going to be made, right? A duck by any name is a duck. And so the reality is what does the defense have to rely on? The defense has to rely on the fact that you did not interview this specific witness. Not every witness is the same. We don't live in a cookie cutter society. You never met, right, a defendant who you testified for. You're always testifying for the victims. You're a hired gun in this particular situation. You've met with the prosecutors multiple times, and you've coordinated your testimony such that those dots can be connected. That's the defense argument. But the fact that she testified, very powerful for the prosecution, and if the jury draws those inferences of coercion, there is problems in Diddy land.
The prosecution and the defense, they sparred over the testimony of a forensic psychologist. Prosecutors also released dozens of new photos seen by the jury, revealing what police seized in the raid on Diddy's Miami Beach mansion. And the judge signed an immunity order to force Diddy's former executive assistant to testify. But here's the big question tonight. Will the jury, the actual jury, connect the dots between the explanation of a trauma bond and the world that Cassie Ventura said that she lived in? The prosecution called psychologist Dawn Hughes to explain why Cassie may have stayed in an abusive relationship.
Excuse me. Play you for those ultras?
Well, we're kind of high level.
Fascinating.
Well, this situation with Kid Cudi was mentioned in the lawsuit as well. So in the lawsuit, she said that Diddy found her phone and found emails between her and Kid Cudi. Diddy became enraged and proceeded to place a manual corkscrew between his fingers and lunged at Cassie. Cassie ran away to stay at Kid Cudi's home to escape. Soon afterwards, one of Diddy's staff members told Cassie that he just needed to talk to Combs, even though he was angry. Feeling like she couldn't escape, she returned back to Diddy. Diddy hit her several times and kicked her in the back as she tried to run out the door. She went to her parents' home in Connecticut, where her mother took pictures of the bruises that Diddy left on her. Then in February 2012, during Paris Fashion Week, Diddy told her that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car, and he wanted to make sure that Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. And around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in the driveway.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
heard
know
about
about
that.
this car blowing up?
I heard about that. I definitely heard about that. And I found it quite funny that the car actually did get blow up. So I would say that was accurate. I would say that.
Yeah, and I guess after that, Cudi didn't want anything to do with Cassie because this was like, okay, this was more than I bargained for.
Yeah, he definitely didn't have nothing to do with her anymore after that.
How do you blow up someone's car?
That's a good question.
I mean,
especially how do you tell somebody you're going to blow up their car and then it blows up?
Yeah, you'd have to send someone to put a bomb under their car. I mean, even having a bomb is already makes you a terrorist.
Well,
at
they
that
got
point.
they got so many different things that you can make now, cocktails and all type of other stuff. But yeah, I heard about that.
I guess. And
It sounded like his ass was there. That nigga Sean said that exact same thing that blew up Kid Cudi car. The goddamn cocktail.
And at that point, you were essentially gone. You were kind of phasing out.
After that situation is when I left.
Right, and you went to go work for Ciroc.
And I went to work for Ciroc, yes.
Now, working at Ciroc, your pay was lowered.
My pay was lowered. It was something that Diddy told me when he asked me if I wanted to leave. See, a lot of people get the misconception that I got fired. No, I went to Diddy, and through the grapevine, I was trying to figure out ways to get away from him because it was just too much. The drugs was too much. The fighting was too much. It was like I was a babysitter. I'm getting between him and his girlfriends fighting, him and Cassie fighting. So I had to figure out a way to keep my job and still be able to leave. So that's when I was diagnosed with diabetes. And I went and told Puff, yo, I heard you got an ambassador job open at Ciroc. He said, how you heard that? I said, come on, I've been here for 10 years. I said, people talk to me. And then he said, all right, just give me some time. About a week later, he said, okay, I'm going to let you go over there. He said, but you know you ain't making the same money over there that you're going to make with me because I don't have no control of it. Even though he did have control of it, I think he thought that was something that was going to sway me. But I had already made up my mind, like enough is enough, because it was getting to the point where we going to hurt each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to keep letting you do this. I'm not going to keep letting you talk to people, more or less talk to me, because Puff talks shit. And coming from where I come from, sometime him talking shit to me, I had to catch myself. And it was one time where he said I had lied to him. And I said, who the fuck is you for me to lie to? And Uncle Paulie came over to me and was like, yo, 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 yo. And I caught myself. And that's when I said, you know what? It's time for me to get out of here.
"2011. They're still trying to push Cassie. and she had a few singles here and there. Some of them did a little something, but not like her first song. So then Diddy puts her in the studio with Kid Cudi.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
At this particular time, I had left and I was still doing security off and on, and I was taking Cassie to her shows and stuff like that. But from what I'm hearing is that she was having an affair with Kid Cudi.
Okay, so she was in the studio with Kid Cudi and they started to actually get romantically involved. Now, from what I understand, Cassie had a phone that she would just leave around sometimes, and Diddy went through her phone.
Yes.
What happens next?
When he went through the phone, he called the number and Kid Cudi picked up. And he was like, what? Yo, I don't know exactly what he said. I know that he went over to his house and Kid Cudi wasn't there. And he went over to the house. I know at that particular time, after that happened, Cassie wouldn't come around. And then all of a sudden, Cassie came around and Diddy was upset, and he was upset with a young lady called Capricorn. So Capricorn was his personal assistant. She was the KK. If you ever hear people talk about his assistant now called KK. She was his ride or die. She rode around with him everywhere. And he really got upset with her because she had to know about Kid Cudi because she never went to the studio by herself. She always went with Cassie. And he put hands on Capricorn because of that situation. And Capricorn ended up leaving and suing him for it. And he paid Capricorn $450,000 to keep her mouth shut. And to this day, Capricorn has spoken about it. I even heard Suge Knight speak about it on his podcast because Capricorn was also Suge Knight's baby mother, one of her best friends. So she knew everything that was going on. So I guess his baby mother must have spoke to Suge about it because he had beat he put hands on Capricorn about that, and he put hands on Cassie about that.
There have already been a ton of moments in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, but you know who has not missed one bit? Matthew Russell Lee, the guy who posts real-time updates from court as inner city press. You probably have been following his posts. In a trial with no cameras, Matthew is there. So not only do we want to know what it's like to be one of the main sources of up-to-date information on the case, but who better to get some insight on the trial, the evidence, and who may be winning. That's why we're going to bring on the man himself. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Now, it's no secret we have been covering every aspect of Sean Diddy Combs' racketeering, sex trafficking, prostitution trial, that Combs, allegedly ran this criminal enterprise that engaged in crimes for years. Prosecutors say that he used his business and associates to commit crimes, covered them up, that those underlying predicate acts or crimes as part of racketeering include kidnapping, drug distribution, arson, bribery, forced labor, sex trafficking. And by the way, speaking of sex trafficking, he's also facing charges there. Allegations that Combs used lies and drugs and threats and violence to force and coerce victims or alleged victims like Cassandra Ventura Fine and others into sex acts against their will. So from jury selection to opening statements to the testimony of Cassie to an alleged male performer who purportedly participated in freak-offs with Combs and Cassie to a former friend to a former Combs band member to a former assistant to a security guard, we have been bringing you daily updates for this trial. But the problem is there are no cameras in that courtroom. There is no audio equipment in that courtroom. So we have been doing our best to try to relay to you as much detail as possible. And one of the reasons that we've been able to do that is because of our next guest. There is somebody who has not only been in that courtroom every day, but who live tweets, live posts on X in real time as the trial progresses each moment. Somebody that we have definitely looked to for quick updates on this case. This guy is a legend. I'm talking about Matthew Russell Lee, but you may know him from his account, Inner City Press. Seriously, check him out on X. Has over 350,000 followers. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar, and thank you so much for the work that you've been doing day in and day out.
Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be on. It's really fun. I cover a lot of different cases, but everyone, this case is like extremely hype. But then in the middle of it, I went upstairs to another RICO case where there are 27 defendants. All of the family members are in the courtroom, but there's no press at all. Right. And these people are facing, like, 2 of them face the death penalty. So it's sort of it's a tale of two legal systems.
Yeah, and to be clear, you cover a ton of different federal trials, and it's one of the reasons you have this particular access to the Diddy trial and actually the ability to transcribe what's happening. And by the way, your notes, phenomenal, because I actually match your notes up to the transcript that we get at the end of the day. It's almost verbatim. So, I don't know if you realize this, but you are somebody who not only knows the ins and outs of this case, but one of the reasons I'm so happy to have you to talk about this, but so many people are relying on you for updates in this case. Your posts, your X tweets, whatever you want to call them, posts, I don't even know. They are reprinted and are republished on social media constantly. What is it like, just for you, to be at the center of this, where so many people are relying on you?
It is. It's a bit strange. I'll say that it's. And the thing about social media is that you have media takes it. So I've seen publications just print threads as their own article, and that's fine. You also have, like, as you may have known, like, online, everyone's voice is equal. There are Diddy supporters; they do exist. I'll just give you an example what it's been like. It's fun. When the trial is going on, everything's out of my mind, and I really enjoy it because although it's word to word, you do try to capture, like, some things grab you more than others, or some ways that things are phrased just seem strange, and it seems very important to really nail it down. Like, I feel like it's not. I'm not saying it's an art form. It's a matter of transcription, but also there are things where you can tell how people are going to take it. But the great thing about it is that you don't editorialize. But for example, one aspect of this has been that because of the way social media is, there's been a few spoofers, right? Somebody said, like, that Prince had made an appearance, or Nicki Minaj. I don't know if you followed this, but I've gotten a lot of people have asked me to clarify it, so I've clarified it. Over the weekend, I did like an ebook just to say, like, these are my tweets. So this is what I'm saying was said in the court, not what somebody with AI or something else did. But even in that, there are people that demand. I think it's a serious case. These are serious charges. But it's also a media circus, right? So I try to cover it not with a light touch, but you can't, there is a defense too. There's a defense going on. There was yesterday, Nicole Westmoreland did a really kind of, if I can say it on your airwaves, a kick cross-examination of Don Richard. And I think you have to just say, like, that was good. But people that are extremely committed or mostly work in the domestic violence or sexual abuse space, they don't want to hear anything good about the defense strategy. And they think that you're being sort of dismissive or amoral. So I'm not trying to give a negative thing. It's very fun. I've really enjoyed it. And the thing there's every media in the world is there. And there was a push to try to get access to the videos, the freak-off videos. I put in a filing into the docket to say just that the lawyers' arguments, which are not going into the docket, should be put in the docket. And yesterday, Judge Subramanian said that they will go in, but on a week delay.
By the way, just to be clear, and as somebody who covered the Johnny Depp trial for 6 weeks and also has been covering the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds case, or the Harvey Weinstein trial. I was there for that. You know, people go into these cases with, and I'm not blaming them, not judging them. They already go in with preconceived notions. They have a side. They don't want to hear what the other side is. And unfortunately, that's our job, is to present both sides. And, you know, that's what the point of a trial is. But you mentioned the freak-off tapes, or these alleged freak-off tapes. Just to be clear and set the record straight, has anybody in that courtroom, including the jury, seen actual footage of sex tapes?
They're definitely, yes. But no one else except the jury. There was a whole fight about this. And there's a media coalition, right? They have this, it's like Davis, Wright, and Tremaine. It's a big, they didn't really fight much more. They put in a single filing saying there's a constitutional right to see evidence in trial, which I agree with. They then proposed that there be pool reporters. This was also shot down by the judge, citing the Ghislaine Maxwell case. So basically, the jurors will have a screen and headphones, and that's it. No one else can see it. No, I mean, I think, personally, I'll say this. I use the word allegedly a lot. I'm pretty sure the tapes exist. In the sense that I don't even think that the defense is saying that there weren't, multiple partner sex events that were filmed. I don't think that's part of their defense. The question is whether it was consensual, or whether, even if it was somehow abusive, if it really makes it out a racketeering case. So I was sort of asked, do I want to join into unseal the freak-off tapes? And I'm not sure what people would do with it. I mean, credible media probably wouldn't show porn, like violent porn. Or I don't know, who knows if it's violent. I haven't seen it. It might be important, though, because it might be important for someone, whether it's a pool reporter or not, to see it, because the question becomes, their defense is basically going to be, yes, he has a freaky sex life. Yes, he has threesomes. Yes, he films things. Yes, he pays escorts to come in and have sex with his girlfriend. But is that racketeering? That's their defense. And I think, in a way, the way the jurors may vote may depend on how they view not just the idea that there's a tape of a threesome being shown to them in a federal court, but how does it seem? What are the right? And which ones do they choose? Because it sounds like there was some violence in some of them, at least.
So look, I think from a legal point of view, there is clearly a value for the jury to see it, because does it corroborate what Cassandra Ventura and, let's say, Daniel Phillip were saying about what was happening in behind closed doors, and whether or not Sean Combs was directing these events. It's one thing for somebody to testify to it. It's another thing to actually hear it on video, if that's what the videos actually show. I am concerned, of course, about it getting out and what people might do with it. I think that's a legitimate, real concern. But when you talk about the jury in general, seeing those tapes, seeing the evidence, can you glean anything from their reactions? I mean, how are they reacting to this?
I think people overdo it. I want to see, I've seen a lot of, and I don't mean to, and I understand why. There's a lot of airspace to fill up. I don't know how much we can read into it. I mean, if somebody said, if somebody vomited while watching it, I would report that. But I think that sometimes we can cut the cheese too fine in terms of how reading the facial expressions of jurors. I mean, let's just step back for a moment. The SDNY prosecutors, and I think federal prosecutors in general, have about a 95% batting average. So I'm not saying what's going to happen here, but I think it would be shocking if he were found not guilty on all charges. Maybe one, maybe two. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying, if you look at the percentage. So people are going to be looking at the eyes and say they didn't seem shocked enough. There was jury selection. People, covered it, and they thought it was fun. When you got to hear in court somebody say, I get my news from TikTok, and there were a number of, one lady who worked for HBO. There were people who covered that kind of stuff. I zeroed in on a particular juror. I don't know why, but except that the person said that he worked at the United Nations. So I used to cover the United Nations very closely. And then he said he worked in the United Nations counterterrorism office, but he didn't ever deal with U.S. law enforcement. And having been there, I know that's not true. I know that the U.S. they have meetings. People go from HSI. It happens. So I'm not angry at this. What I found, this is what I want to sort of give this flavor. I thought it was interesting to report on this. I figured out more about the guy, but I thought I won't report it because you're not supposed to. This is an anonymous jury, etc. At the same time, the public has a right to know how the juror is selected to judge Sean Combs. So the judge yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, said very, very kind of archly, no one better be outing these jurors. And that's certainly not my goal, but it seems to me, this is why I'm roundabout coming back to you, people wanted to be on this jury. I cover a lot of jury selections and a lot of trials, and you usually have people not trying to get on the claim. You usually have people saying, I have a vacation planned, and the judge says, you're going to have to cancel it. Or I have to pick up my kid at 5, and he says, well, if we off at 3, can't you do it? This was entirely different. This, you had people downplaying what they knew about the case. I'm not sure why. I don't know if people think they can write a book about it. Maybe it's interesting. The UN guy, I can't figure out his motives. Maybe he thinks he's going to be paid and it's more interesting than these interminable meetings inside the UN. It's a jury that's predisposed to be interested in this. And whether it's because they want to convict or whether it's because they might want to acquit, I don't know. And I don't know what kind of a person would want to acquit. But I meet them online, but I don't think they made it onto the jury.
Well, this is one of the most high-profile trials, impactful criminal trials I've seen in quite some time. Again, going circle back to Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. I mean, that jury was glued to everything that was happening in that case, and they couldn't ignore just how massive of a case that was. So let me ask you this. As somebody who goes in and day out, you've been seeing the evidence, you've been hearing what the prosecution's been doing. Does their case make sense to you? Every day as you listen to the testimony, do you say, okay, I see how that helps prove racketeering. I see how that helps prove the transportation to engage in prostitution. Oh, I see how that helps prove sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Or are there parts of it you say, I can't quite understand. It feels a little disjointed. I'm curious because let me tell you, as an attorney, when I explain the elements of these crimes, it is very, very complicated. And I'm curious, talking about the jury, if they're going to be following it. I think a big part of this all comes down to closing arguments, how it's ultimately crystallized and summarized for the jury. But are you following it? Does it make sense to you, the prosecution's case so far?
I have in my head the people that are like, how can you say this? But I personally, I think this is it's a unique racketeering, sex trafficking prosecution in the sense that, just as an example, I covered one where basically like a crack gang took runaways from New Jersey that were 15 years old and sold them as prostitutes on Long Island. They came from New Jersey, they sold them on Long Island. And it was definitely by force. When people tried to leave, they were beaten up, there were people flashing guns. Here, I feel, he's a terrible boss. You heard, yesterday there was the personal assistant who worked 20 hours a day and was told, this is Diddy's world. And so there's grist for the people that want to say that it's kind of overcharged, or at least the conventional ways in which these statutes are used are not a natural fit to a kind of thuggish music, megalomaniac, and worse, of course. I don't know what adjectives I should use, he's terrible. But it's not surprising to me that there are people that say, wait a second, she could have left. And of course, then there's a bunch of expert opinions saying why people don't leave. And that's a whole other kettle of fish. But whether that can turn some of these things into sort of the conventional view of what, it's like sex trafficking. If an escort is paid to fly, if an escort Jules that they wanted to see is paid to fly from New York to Los Angeles, is he being sex trafficked? Or is he just plying his trade, whatever it is? I didn't know that these trades were even legal, right? There's a service, Cowboys for Angels. I didn't know that you could just hire a male prostitute online, but apparently anything goes. So that's what I mean. Is I could see some jurors saying, wait a second. And I don't think they're bad people to wonder. It's one thing to sort of blame the victim. And it's another thing to say, is this the coercion that's needed under the statute? And I think a lot's going to come down to that.
These are fair, legitimate questions that the jury should have when they go into deliberations. They should be thinking about this. But it seems to me, from what you said, and from what I've been seeing based on your reporting and other reporting, the prosecution may have a more straightforward path to convict him of transportation to engage in prostitution, where necessarily you're transporting alleged sex workers and alleged victims for purposes of prostitution. Does that seem like at this point in the trial, and by the way, for anybody who knows, we're recording right now on Tuesday morning, does it seem like they might have the good?
Yeah, absolutely. That seems to be actually what the thing was. There's no, and the thing is, I wanted sort of, I'm sure you saw in the sort of pretrial back and forth. This is, I believe that statute is, I'm a lawyer as well, but I believe it's called the Mann Act, right? The MAN, not man, not like man for sale, but it was the Mann Act. And one of the sharpest members of the defense team prior to the two Georgians coming on is a woman called Alexandra Shapiro. She's like an appellate specialist. She represents Sam Bankman-Fried on his appeal. And she wrote this kind of filing saying that the Mann Act is racist, saying that it was initially enacted for Jack Johnson, the boxer, for whom Miles Davis wrote a record. So I anticipate in closing, probably it'll be Agnifilo doing the closing. Maybe it should be Ryan Steele or Nicole Westmoreland. It's not for me to say, but I can imagine that argument being made. A jury can't throw a statute out, but I think they're going to try to, I agree that that's a very strong, it seems like a slam dunk count. But if you can get somebody on the jury saying, wait a second, this was like a black superstar and you're trying to like take him down by using an old statute they used against Jack Johnson, it only takes one, you know?
I think they were trying to say in their opening statement he paid for these people for their time and experience and not necessarily prostitution, which I'm sorry, that feels a little bit like a stretch to me, but it's a tough charge. You look, I think we can both agree a lot of this comes down to Cassandra Ventura Fine and her testimony and what the jury makes of it. From watching all of it and the cross-examination, she was on the stand for several days, a lot of evidence, a lot of messages. Does it seem to you that it favors more her as an alleged victim or a willing participant? What did you make of her testimony at the end of the day?
I think
right
you can
now,
be
a lot
both.
of it.
Yeah, I think you can be both. I think there's no question that they showed with the text messages that for much of it, she was not only a participant, she was the organizer. She was the one making the calls and buying the supplies. I think she was a very compelling witness. I think her sort of, and I'm not saying that she chose that approach, but she was very factual. A few times she got emotional, but it was really depressing what she was saying. She wasn't proud to be saying it. I don't think they were able to make people feel that she was in it for the money. She's already gotten paid. I mean, I think that also makes a big difference. Like, what's in it for her? Other than you could say she's being vindictive, but I think she was a very compelling witness. Now, this is, again, just looking at it as a battle. I don't think their approach to cross-examining her was the best one. I've seen the Ana Maria Estevao in other cases. She's a good lawyer, but the approach was too scattershot and reading text messages. I honestly think if they'd gone with this Nicole Westmoreland approach that they took to Don Richard, I don't know how it would have worked out. Because, with Don Richard, they basically said, as you saw, you're lying. You gave 8 versions of this. You're a liar. And they never came right. Maybe if they thought if they tried that with Cassie, it would just blow up in their face and she was very sympathetic. But I don't feel that they really tested it in the same way that they did with Don Richard. And I feel that might come back to bite them because at the end of those days, it's a pretty compelling story. And I think people can relate to it. They got into it. Yes, they were. It did serve her career. You could say a lot of things about it. But once somebody's hitting you in the head and making you do freak-offs while you have a urinary tract infection. These are the details that I think are going to stick in people's mind because no matter what you say about consent, as she said, nobody wants to do that. That speaks for itself. Like these things were painful. And I don't think that they finished with all their evidence. I was really struck yesterday by the sort of routine violence. There were violent incidents that Cassie didn't speak about, even the whole thing with the egg and the frying pan. And Kerry Morgan came out with more incidents of being dragged down the hall 50 yards in some Jamaican resort. I think this is going to be a cumulative thing and it's going to be very difficult for them to rebut. And they kind of lost their chance. The other big issue here is that they're pretty much not going to be able to call her back. Normally you could call a witness back, but because she's having the child, Judge Subramanian, he made an evidentiary ruling against the prosecution, but entirely premised on the fact we're not calling her back. So that was the big one. And I would say the defense kind of, if they wanted to really test that story, they should have taken a harsher approach, not harsher, but a more conventionally cross-examination approach.
Well, look, it was no surprise that they wanted her on the stand as quickly as possible. 8.5 months, 9 months pregnant. I mean, they're having trouble finding alleged victim number 3. If you lose alleged victim number 1, what are you talking about with the prosecution's case? Look, I think that they have established that Cassandra Ventura was physically abused. I think that with the video evidence, the photos, the testimony, the corroborating testimony of other witnesses, I think the jury can accept that there was physical abuse. Of course, it becomes the question, does it rise to sex trafficking? Does it rise to racketeering? Which brings me to David James. So I was waiting for the testimony of those who worked with Sean Combs. If you're going to be talking about a criminal enterprise, if you're going to be talking about him using his businesses and his resources and those who worked around him to further criminal activities, you got to have those people testify. And I think that's going to be what we see moving forward. What did you take away so far from his testimony? Because, again, to have that inner circle is very interesting.
Again, we're doing this Tuesday morning, so he hasn't finished yet on direct. I think here the prosecution kind of blew it. Like they had a certain amount of time. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can fix it today. But being a bad boss is not enough. Working 20 hours a day and being a megalomaniac is not a crime. I mean, I wouldn't want to work there, but I think that they
forced labor, right? They tried to.
I know that's all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you followed the Larry Ray trial. It was a sex cult dad in Sarah Lawrence College. He literally made people forcibly go down and dig holes on a farm in North Carolina and put tinfoil tourniquets around their sexual organs. This was forced labor. The idea of a guy that wanted to work in fashion being willing to work 20 hours a day. That's just called New York, or a certain kind of New York. In the Harvey Weinstein retrial, there was a guy that testified as his personal assistant saying he had 3 phones and 2 BlackBerries and would drive around with Harvey, basically handing him phones and him saying, you know, screw you or 500 million, you know. And so I think that they need to get this guy. It didn't have the flavor to me, at least yesterday, of this is a criminal enterprise. It felt like this is a kind of like megalomaniacal, I don't know what rap stars with their own record label, what the continuum of behavior is. But I feel like they were setting, that's the problem with these breaks in the trial days. If I was a juror at the end of yesterday, I would have gone home and said like, okay, he's or whatever, but they might have wanted to start with a bang. Like with Cassie, they start with a bang. It's like, here's the video of the hotel. You know, again, I can't do it for them. I'm sure that they're building up, and they have other people. They have a chef coming on that's going to be this Jordan Atkinson. I mean, they have a bunch of people. So I think to make it really racketeering, it feels to me like they're going to want to have the security guys. They're going to have guys that like had guns, that they alluded to them like grabbing the guns and going to find Suge Knight. Like that's good. That's having recently covered the trial of a local drill rapper called K-Flock. That's, you know, they focus very much on like the guys getting together in an apartment in the Bronx, grabbing the guns, you know, shooting, going 20 blocks away and shooting at people. With Combs, nobody knows what he did with Suge Knight. There's the burned car. But I think they should give me more of that, less BlackBerry, more gunplay or more something.
No, I hear you. I hear you, because they basically have to convince the jury, persuade this jury that he is this leader of a criminal enterprise that was engaged in a pattern of criminal activity, including the systematic exploitation and abuse of women over a period of time. You know, we're still in the beginning stages. It's going to be an 8-week trial, but I hear your reservations and concerns with the prosecution's case. I did think James was interesting when he recounted this alleged conversation that he had with Cassandra Ventura, where she allegedly said, man, this lifestyle's crazy. He suggested, why don't you leave? And she says, I can't get out. She told him that Combs controlled her music career, paid for her apartment, gave her an allowance. That's also similar to testimony that we heard from another witness as well. Do you think that that has been articulated well? Because I know that the defense has said this is just a relationship built on jealousy and anger, and you know, he was trying to help her career. But do you think the idea that she couldn't leave, she couldn't easily leave the grasp of Sean Combs, do you think that has been properly articulated?
I think that they're on much weaker ground when they say things like, he didn't put my records out. Like, I don't mean to say sorry, too bad. It doesn't feel like coercion. You know?
Yeah, man, this shit is getting ridiculous. He blew up Kid Cudi car, man. Let's go back to this guy we was just watching, y'all. Yeah, man, who is this? Malaya? I thought they said Mia, Malaya. Oh, what the hell? Hey, bad. Blah, blah, blah. What? Alright, they call up goddamn Malaya Morals, man. Morales. Yeah, maybe it's Morales, man. They ask her name. She say Malaya. She's a celebrity makeup artist, guy. Do you recognize anyone you work for? Sean Combs in the gray sweater and the white collar. That boy ain't there with that drill. That boy got that gray, that Louis V sweater on with the motherfucker white collar, nigga. When did you work for Diddy? Said 2000 to 2005. Then who? Rihanna. Then who else? You worked for Jennifer Lopez and Cassie. When did you work with Cassie? Malaya says 2007 until COVID. What? Okay. From 2007 until COVID. I finna say COVID wasn't in no goddamn 2007. Yeah, okay. She was like a little sister to me. How much older are you then, Cassie? Malaya said a few years. Malaya, did you ever see her with injuries on her face? She said the 2010 Grammy weekend Prince party. Man, what the rest of them at, gang? That's it. Hell yeah. They fresh back off the break. They asked was you with her? Malaya says Beverly Hills. I fell asleep in the room and woke up to commotion. Cassie walked in, then Diddy asking where the fuck is she? Damn. The government said, what did he do? Morales said he walked into the bedroom and shut the door. What did you hear behind the door? Yelling and screaming, both of them. Then Diddy left. What did you see next? Cassie, she had a swollen eye, knots on her head. I packed her things up, we went to my house. Damn. So yeah, that being from that hallway, he just did it again. He just repeated that shit. Out on the Grammy weekend, 2010. And they had Beyonce in there, Jay-Z and Rihanna. Nah, that's from 5 years ago. Maybe Taylor Swift was there. But at that time, Diddy was walking, they asked him about this, that Kanye West did that thing. They said, Beyonce had the best album. Took the mic and shit. Anyhow. Yeah. Anyhow. Anywho. Diddy put the beats, then they go from that right there. Go to that to this right here. Nigga just beating our ass. He came down. That's how he came around the corner too, right here. Where the fuck is she? She went in the bedroom, putting on her shit. There you go. This how Diddy came in the bedroom. God damn, motherfucker. What my shit? Where my bitch? Where my bitch? Bitch? Fuck you going, huh? Huh? Where the fuck she is? And this what happened when he found her. So he did this right here. She was laid out for a minute. Laid out, yeah. You can't hit a motherfucker and beat him to the ground without kicking him. It's only right in Diddy eyes, gang. If you did it, like you just doing what you do. Just an average day in the life of Diddy, gang. He did this to Gina. He did this shit to hey man, he probably did that shit to Kim. They saying that him and Kim ain't get down like they Playboy. They ain't get down at the house, you know. But I don't know. She was writing a book, they claimed, then she had a death that was, unexpected and whatever, with the air quotes, gang. I don't know. He's a bad boy, man. I wouldn't put it past him. I think she said no to a freak off right here. This just one of the occasions. This is how it go down, man. Say no to a freak off, boom, get your ass whooped. Hey, well, my bitch, come here. Come here. Say no to a freak off, ass whoop. After the Grammys, nigga, you acting up. I think you were looking at too many niggas. Ass whoop. Put the beats on Beats. By Dr. Dre, nigga. He should have went and beat it with Dr. Dre, guy. Just beats. Beats by Diddy, nigga. Beats by Jangalang. Beat your ass, nigga, then make you do some sex, man. Sex cartel, guy. Yeah, he beat her ass. The government says then. Malaya says the doctor friend came and examined her to see if she had a concussion. The government said, what were you afraid of? Morales said, my life. Sean, Diddy comes. I feared for my life. Oh my God, it was so scary. It made us shiver and cry. Oh. Diddy do it. Alright. They said objection. Move the strike. The judge overruled that, guy. Boom. The government says, how long did she stay? The girls, Morales said, days. The government said, have you done interviews about this? Morales said, a couple. The government, were you paid? She said, no, guy, I did that shit off the script. Nigga, they need to know about Sean Django Lang Diddy Combs, man. That nigga is a motherfucking monster, gang. I just did them interviews off the script. We gotta get that nigga. She got some interviews. My life. Boom. He ain't gotta go that hard, gang. That shit up in the system. Don Lemon, man. Who is this? Anthony Downtown, man. Can I see some of the video, man? I don't want you on there and you just talking about what she doing and shit. Gang. Oh, that's CNN. I know that gang. That real to the pound.
She's a former makeup artist for Diddy and also Cassie Ventura, working for Diddy for years.
All right, so this who on the stand right now. She worked this for Diddy. She worked it for Cassie. She worked it for Jenny from the block. You hear me?
And eventually becoming a friend of Cassie's. In 2010, Mila alleges that she heard Cassie being physically abused and was a witness to the aftermath of the alleged attack. She joins me now. Mila, thank you so much for being here. This has been, for so many people, illuminating, infuriating, troubling, devastating. You can go down the list of things, but it's so difficult to speak about.
I know.
Being a witness of anything. Tell me how you must be feeling just knowing that this has even come to light.
Well, I have kept this secret for like 14 years. I mean, the first time I experienced it was 2010, and I was in the hotel room when Puff came in, and I had no idea Cassie left. And when I woke up, I just saw his presence come into the room. They went into the bedroom and shut the door, and all I could hear is screaming and yelling and whatever.
This is what she just said on the stand. Like, damn, this was 6-7 months ago. So her story
was going on in there, I don't know. But all I could think of was
no.
to grab Cassie.
This from 11 months ago, almost a year ago. She did this on CNN. She basically said the same shit she said on the stand, bro. He's a monster.
These things and start packing it up and just getting her out to safety and bringing her to my house. So that's kind of like what transpired from that night. And once she came out of the room, she was badly, beaten.
Oh my God. What did her physical appearance look like?
I mean, it was knots on her head, black eye, busted lip, but a lot of knots all over her head.
Did she go
This is not showbiz.
to the police at that point or anything?
No, we didn't know what to do at that point because, Puffy is a very powerful person and we were quite terrified. So I just, brought her to my house, and my friend who is a doctor, I called her, and thank God she was in town because we didn't know what to do. And she treated her for, just to make sure she didn't have a concussion or anything like that. But it was really it was painful to see Cassie like that because she's such a beautiful human being, and for a man to just hurt any sort of woman or child or animal, it doesn't matter. But Cass is a good friend of mine, and
Our animal, man. You see what he did to Chico. See what he did. Kid Cudi dog named Chico, man. Cruelty to animal homes. Like, had that dog scared. Kid Cudi had to feed him CBD, man. So the dog always on edge now, gang.
And I just felt, I just didn't know what to do. I felt like, I don't even know how to describe how I felt that night.
Did she describe how she was feeling about having that happen? Did you get a sense that this was the first time?
It didn't feel like it, because it wasn't. It was almost like, I feel like she might have been embarrassed that happened in front of me.
But the incident that you're talking about even predates what we saw in this horrific video from a hotel floor. When that video came out, what did it feel like knowing that had now been public?
No, I was devastated when I saw that video because it was like I witnessed what could have happened in that room and more, So that was a hallway incident. Who knows what happened in that room when I was outside of there. And I was devastated. Actually, I've been devastated since the court cases came out and how, he mistreated Cassie.
He has settled the suit involving her specifically, but there are others. And there are sources that are telling CNN that the majority of the people currently suing Diddy are actually speaking to federal investigators, which indicates the Justice Department might be moving close to an indictment. So do you think that Cassie would testify against him if federal investigators asked her to or compelled her to?
I'm really not sure. Like I said, I can't speak for Cass, but I hope she does. I hope she does, because she's the only one that would know all the information that's gone on over the years. So,
Mila, why do you think? I mean, we've heard certainly, you know, a lot of people in the industry condemn Diddy for what they saw on that video, but it hasn't been a universal outcry within the industry specifically. Why do you think that is?
They do it too, nigga.
because it's a very small industry, and that we all know each other, and I feel like people are afraid to like speak up about it. And the only reason why I am is because I'm a friend of Cass's, and I really care about her very much so. And I'm outraged and very, very like heartbroken about like how he's been treating her. It just it breaks my heart, and I just can't imagine like a man treating a woman that way, and not just a woman, but a friend of mine that I've known since she was a teenager. So you know, I've known Cassie before all of this. So it disgusts me.
I can only imagine of all the women that you have worked.
Yeah, that shit is disgusting, gang.
But when did it start with Cassie? When did you notice?
Black eye, everything. I mean, it was terrible. I was trying to get, you know, Cassie out of you to this really nice guy. He graduated from Harvard. He's a producer. I think that you really like get along with him. And so that's how like the introduction came about. And Brian at the time was working for Bad Boy. He was one of the producers for Bad Boy.
Did they hit it off immediately, or did she talk to you about the relationship? Was it something that happened
not at all.
fast or over time?
I mean, over time, like, of course, I told Ryan not to date her, and I told Cass not to date him because, you know, just focus on the music and focus on like the beauty of like creating something together, not necessarily a romantic relationship, but like creating music and focusing on the craft.
You told her not to date Diddy.
No, I didn't even know that they were dating.
Oh, she didn't tell you. So you told her not to date
Ryan.
Ryan. Got you.
Yeah.
And they ended up dating.
Yeah, they ended up dating.
But how?
And, you know, he was one.
Go on. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
So then how did she end up with Diddy? She never told you about their relationship. All of a sudden, you just found out.
I just found out. Like I was like reading. I don't know, maybe one of the blogs or something, and I saw a picture of them two, and I was like, oh my God, like this is not going to be good. You know.
Why'd you say that, Mila?
Well, just because, you know, like, I just feel like men in the industry, it's not a good idea to date the men. It's better to just keep it very professional and, like, separate.
But had you witnessed anything? Did you think something might be off? Is there a time where you were thinking, like, maybe something was off, or that with his relationship with women, or that he was a player or anything like that?
I mean, that's for him. I mean, that's a Puff question. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's always been professional. Like that's none of my business. Whatever he does in his own time is his business. But I just felt like, you know, just because I looked at Cassie as like a little sister, I'm like, oh, you know, not the best idea to date somebody like Puff.
When did you realize, because I know that you said you were there and you knew this stuff was happening. So you didn't, in the beginning, you didn't see, you know, something off about his relationship with women. But when did it start with Cassie? When did you notice? Was it with Cassie? Was it with someone else?
It was with Cassie, actually. I mean, like, obviously Puff is Puff, you know, and he's just going to be who he is. And we kind of like turned a blind eye because he's such a powerful person, and we can't really, you know, there's nothing that we can do. Puff is gonna be Puff, and that's not no excuse as to his behavior, but you know, we kind of like turned a blind eye because it all, we're there to do a job. And later on, you know, I witnessed something that I didn't want to witness, and you know, that was in 2010, and that's when I first hand saw.
I think that's what they were talking about, 2010 at the Grammys. They just said that in one that other interview. This where we was at right here. Right here, gang. She on the stand right now. Malaya, man. Oh, she's not a liar, man. Oh, Malaya not a liar. But nah, she keeping her story pretty consistent. I believe her, man. These women ain't lying on this nigga, man. This nigga just outrageous, man. You gone, what the done in the dark will come to the light, man. They gonna get your ass one day, gang. You doing too much. Okay. Boom. Right. With my house. Okay, we back on these. Yeah, she said she ain't get paid for these interviews neither. That she did this shit just out the most. The government asked her, do you provide evidence? Malaya says, what photos of me and Kim Porter early 2000s? She said, were you paid? Malaya says, 1,000. Yeah, that's a rack. She was paid a rack, guys. They said no further questions. Now they cross-examining her. Goes Diddy lawyer, goddamn me. Estevo. Did you assist Cassie at any red carpet events? He said, Malaya said possibly. At some music videos, Black and Yellow. Black and Yellow. Have you, we had these photos. They put up the photos, whatever. Diddy lawyer said the goal was that she looked put together. Malaya says yes. Then Diddy lawyer says these photos show your artistry. You reposted them on Instagram. Damn, what's her name? Malaya says yes. He says you were in the hotel room though you lived near. You met Cassie's family. She said, Malaya said yes, her father. You called a doctor, a lawyer. Malaya said the lawyer lived in San Francisco. The Diddy lawyer says you provided emotional support. Malaya says yes. God damn. Like that's all there. Did you? You did an interview with CNN and with the Extra TV, Don Lemon. That's where we watching now. Piers Morgan. Malaya said yes. Did Dateline reach out to you? This what Diddy lawyer said. She said, I don't look at those anymore. Did you ask the government if you could do more? Look at this. Oh man. And they pull out a motherfucking evidence like this of her trying to do some more interviews. What is she doing them for free, gang? What's the hurt, gang? She ain't doing that. She ain't getting no gang off of them. She's just telling it what it is, gang. Alright, Diddy lawyer said you asked permission to speak to Dateline. She said, of course I asked. After the incident, neither Diddy or anyone from his company ever approached you. She says no one did. For the documentary where you paid, motherfucker, she said therapy. So I guess she did therapy to the people that was on the documentary. Or did it pay for her therapy? What's happening? What's going on? What happened? Or did the documentary people pay for her therapy? You need therapy after this shit. If you think she need therapy, Cassie need all type of shit. Everybody need all type of shit. I took a break, man. Yeah, I ain't posted nothing off the stand.
Something that I didn't want to see.
I know it's tough for you, but I think it's important that you share so people know. What did you witness in 2010?
Well, it was. I mean, I don't think we should talk about that anymore, Don, because I've already did an interview about that, and it says it all in the interview. But it's just something that, you know, it's a trigger for me and a trauma because, you know, I came into this business.
Shit so bad, she don't even want to talk about the shit no more. She like, I done talked about this shit enough. Hold on, done. This shit so bad, nigga. You triggering me, nigga. Trigger.
I understand that. For as much as, listen, I'm a survivor of abuse. And I know as much as you can share, because the people who saw your other interview may not be the folks who are going to see this. So if you don't mind sharing what you can share, I would appreciate it. And again, I don't want to push you past any limit that you have.
I mean, I didn't necessarily witness the entirety of it because I was trying to get, you know, Cassie out of, you know, I was packing her bags, getting her out of the situation so that I can lead her to safety.
Where were you guys when it happened?
It was at a hotel in Beverly Hills.
In the hills, guys.
And were you in the room, or did she like come to you for help?
She probably didn't want to do no freak off, man. I think this probably one of them times she was like, no, nigga, you tripping, my friend in the room, man. I don't want to do no freak off after the Grammys, gang. Damn, with Usher and all them. I don't want to do that, gang. I just want to chill. That nigga went to, bitch.
No, I was outside of the room and I was just packing her bags because the commotion started happening.
Was this a time? I know that there was a time when you were with him and he said he came into the room and asking where she was. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the same day. That was the same time.
Where the F is Cassie? Or where the F is she or something like that. And then what happened after that?
And then the door closed and whatever was going on in there, and I could just hear screaming. And, you know, the first thing that I can think of was just pack her bags and let's get out of there.
So screaming, and then when she came out, what happened? What did you see?
She was not in, you know, obviously she was not, I mean, she was like badly beaten.
Bruises,
you know, just all, I mean, knots on the head, you know, her black eye, everything. I mean, it was terrible.
You could hear this from outside of the door.
Mm-hmm.
Were there others around?
No, there was just the three of us.
Were you trying to get in?
No, I was trying to get her out, like because all I can hear was get the hell out of here, and you know, I was packing her bags up so that we can get her to safety.
What did she say to you, Milo, when she came out?
I don't even remember, honestly, Dawn. Like, that was such a blur. I don't even remember what was said or.
First she said, "Bitch, help."
Or all I knew is we just need to get her out, and then like,
let's go. For that nigga turn up some more, nigga. Let's go. Hey, I'm dizzy, nigga. Let's
get
go.
her treated with one of my friends who's a doctor.
So you guys left immediately?
Yeah.
Did he try to?
As far as I can remember, this was 2010. Remember, Don? This is a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it.
So,
Trust me, I get it.
And it was like a trauma that we don't want to like relive. And watching the video that I.
But at the same time, she asked to talk to Dateline. She done did a couple interviews. Like, you didn't have to do no interview to go testify. So I don't know, you know. Looking at both sides of the coin, gang.
That came out was that 2 weeks ago, a week ago. The video that just came out,
right,
from CNN.
Right.
And when that came out, it was a trigger. It was like, oh my God, like, well, this is what went on in there and more. And this is what's been going, because this was in 2016, the video. So what happened was in 2010. And that was like, it was, I couldn't believe that it continued on until then. And then like, you know, hearing the court case in November, it was even more of a shock to me. Everything was more of a shock.
Had you put it out of your head? Do you think you blocked it, and then is that why you came forward, because the whole thing came back to you?
Okay, back to the stand. They asked her, Diddy's lawyer says, you sold the photos to CNN for $1,000. Malaya says yes. They said no further question. Next witness, Frederick Zimmer, the general manager of the hotel in LA, the Lerhamage Hotel in LA. Damn. The government say, where are you? Why are you here? He says, I received a subpoena, Zimmer. Are you familiar with the hotel reservation system? Zimmer said, we have a system called Opera. We enter in personal preferences. The government said, how long do you keep them? Zimmer said, they stay forever. Oh, damn, they finna have all type of shit going on, guys. Oh, wrong thing. Man, it's gonna be a while before they goddamn come up.
Obviously, when I saw the video, well, of course, this is a trauma that, you know, like at the end of the day, this is our professional career. So like that's something that, you know, we keep behind closed doors. And I know that everyone's asking, you know, why did you wait so long to, you know, talk about it? Well, there's a reason why. It's because Puff is a very powerful man, and, you know, this is our livelihood. We can't just like at that.
Facts. We understand, gang. You powerful. That nigga is crazy in the motherfucker. You unhinged, gang. Yeah, he understand now. Zimmermar. Go back to Maya, man. Malaya.
You know, we keep behind closed doors. And I know that everyone's asking, you know, why did you wait so long to, you know, talk about it? Well, there's a reason why. It's because Puff is a very powerful man, and, you know, this is our livelihood. We can't just like at that night, we couldn't even go to the police because we were frightened, you know? And when I did see the video, it was, and I pushed that out because I had to be quiet about it for so long. Like there's nobody that I can really talk to about it. And the only two people that knew about it was a friend of ours and my friend who's a doctor, because those are the only two people that we can actually like communicate with. Because we couldn't go to the hospital and we were like kind of scared, you know? And well, I was scared.
Shit, I was scared.
Because we were always scared of Puff. And, you know, when I saw that video, it was like a trigger. I just can't believe how someone can, you know, beat a man. I can't imagine a man trying to beat a beautiful woman like my friend Cass. That was, it was beyond heartbreaking and a trigger. It was like, I can't even believe how you can lay your hands on a woman like that, or a person, or a dog, or any kind of like, you know, living animal, human, whatever it is. I can't imagine how someone.
Man, Diddy don't give a fuck, man. You imagine, cause you seen that shit, girl. You better ask Kid Cudi about his dog and his car. Nigga, you better be glad he ain't beat your ass. He beat Capricorn ass, you hear me?
Said it was a doctor and you and Cassie. Did you take him to, where did you take her? You didn't go to the hospital, right? You guys.
No. My friend it's my best friend who's a doctor. Mm-hmm. So I called her up, and she lives not too far from me at the time. And I was like, I need you to come over and, like, treat.
After you witnessed her doing that, why she would go back? That's what people are going to ask. Why would she go back?
I mean, I was asking myself the same question, like, why would you go back? But I believe that, abused women, it's that Stockholm syndrome.
Hell yeah. And then if she did leave, Roger Buns would come get her. D-Rock would come get her, kidnap her, cover her face up so you wouldn't see how beat up she was, and bring her ass back to the pub. She went to Kid Cudi house. That nigga car blew up, guy.
She was always such a.
She better go back. If she didn't go back, motherfuckers gonna get hurt, man. Diddy was a motherfucker. Hey, where my bitch? Yeah.
There's no mean bone in her body. That's the crazy part.
Dollar bill, where my bitch?
Or brought it up to you afterwards when you guys were out to dinner?
No.
Did you guys just never? You're like, we're not talking about this.
Well, I mean,
no,
yeah, we just didn't. I mean, no, yeah, it's like when family goes through things, we sweep stuff under the carpet.
Which is what we shouldn't do. I'm not saying that.
Exactly. I mean, like I come from I'm Filipina, so it's like it's a generational curse. We just sweep, everything.
Like, we all snitch type shit. We just don't
under the carpet.
Oh boy. Couple things. When you're a makeup artist, and there are pictures out there, and you know how people analyze. You look at the entertainment shows and the news shows, and they're sort of analyzing. They're saying she has a bruise here. She's covering it with makeup. You're a makeup artist. Did you see that? Did you know if that happened?
What do you mean? Did I see
her covering up bruises or scars or scratches?
No, not after that. Not after that. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets? Do you wish you had come forward? Or called a hotline? Or
I mean, of course I would have wanted to, but I mean, we are not like you and I know, Don, being at this level of, I want to say in entertainment, there's certain things that you can't really, and I know this is, it sounds to the masses, people don't understand what we have to deal with. We have to sign NDAs. There's a certain, like,